begged us to take them along when we made our final dash to get away from the planet and back to the moon. At last, after 6 weeks of grueling questioning on the part of the investigation committee, our ordeal came to an end. We were told nothing of the committee's findings, and a week later, they took a ship back to Earth. We were still confined to our quarters, as were the crews of the freighters who were kept in another part of the colony and with whom we had no contact whatsoever. We learned later that they, too, had been subjected to a searching examination. Then, one morning, Lemmy came bursting into our restroom with some exciting news.
Jet, Doc.
Hello, Lemmy. I thought you were up in the observation tower.
I was, but what I saw up there sent me running back here.
What's the trouble?
The Discovery. They're working on it.
What?
Yes, Jet. There's a whole army of engineers out at the launching ground.
Getting her ready for takeoff, you mean?
I don't know about that.
Well, what else could they be doing?
An inspection, maybe.
Yeah, but what for? She's not going anywhere. And they went over every inch of her for a month after we got back.
How about the freighters, Lemmy? Anybody working on those?
Not that I could see.
Then what can be going on? We have a right to know.
I bet everybody else in this colony knows. The way they treat us, you think we'd committed a crime or something.
Well, I'm going to town to look for myself.
Me too. Coming, Doc?
Yeah, sure. Hey, wait a minute. Who's this?
The controller.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hello, sir.
Morning, sir.
Sit down, please. I want to talk to you.
Let me bring over another seat.
What's it about this time, Chief? Not another investigation committee on its way.
No, nothing so grim as that. A few hours ago, I received the result of the first committee's investigation. It's quite a formidable document.
What does it say?
Are they going to turn us loose now? Let us go back home?
You're going back to Earth, yes.
Well, there's a turn-up for the book.
What did the inquiry, sir? What did they conclude?
That you were probably telling the truth.
Probably. But I like that.
You must remember, Mr. Mitchell, that no matter how convinced you may be of what occurred during your trip, your individual reports did not always agree. Apparently all of you, with the exception of Dr. Matthews, were at some time or another under the power and influence of the Martians, allowing that such beings do exist. And all of you are rather vague about events during that time.
But the committee has decided that at least something of what we said is true.
Yes, in fact, they are quite prepared for the worst.
The invasion?
Yes.
Well, thank goodness they're awake to it at last.
Yeah, and what are they going to do about it?
That's something for a body on a far higher level than the committee to decide. But this I do know. Copies of their report will be given to all Commonwealth and major foreign governments, and a worldwide conference will then be held to decide how we can defend ourselves against a Martian invasion should it come.
It will come, sir.
In 1986 of the next close opposition?
So we were led to believe.
Well, that gives us 14 years in which to get ready for them.
But how do you prepare to meet something you know next to nothing about?
We hope to find out a great deal in the not-too-distant future.
Oh? How?
Captain Morgan, would you return to Mars if we asked you?
Return? When?
At the next opposition.
Mars will be further away than during the last one. What ship could reach it?
The Discovery, if she were modified.
So that's what's going on over at the launching ground.
Yes, but the modifications would have to be very extensive. How'd she carry enough fuel? We've only 2 freighters left.
The backroom boys think it can be done. Extra fuel tanks and a more powerful motor will be installed. She'll be as tall as a skyscraper.
What about the extra weight?
She'll be a 3-stage job. Should reach twice her old velocity.
And squash her crew flat in the process.
Not quite, Lemmy. But their endurance will be tested to its limit.
And what do we do when we reach Mars?
You'll be told that when you get down to Earth. Now, will you go?
Of course, we all will.
Eh?
How long before we leave?
3 months at the outside. That is the estimated time it will take to get the Discovery ready.
And when do we go back to Earth?
On the next ship. But there's one thing more.
Yes?
This project is to be treated with the utmost secrecy. You are not to talk about it to anyone. Nobody at all, you understand?
Of course.
Very well, gentlemen. Transport to the launching ground will call for you in 12 hours from now. When you reach Earth, you will be escorted to your new living quarters.
Where will they be?
I don't know.
Will we be landing in Australia or Europe?
I don't know that either. All I do know is that I'll be coming with you.
We're in for a right old time. I can see it coming.
Well, that's all for now, gentlemen. And good luck.
Thank you, sir.
5 days later, Jet, Mitch, Lemmy, and I were back on Earth. We touched down in Australia, at the launching ground near the Horseshoe Range in the Northern Territory. And from there, we were immediately transferred to a waiting plane and flown to England. There, we landed at an almost deserted airport just outside London. And we were quickly bustled into a waiting car and driven to a hotel in town. It was obvious that our arrival in the metropolis was being kept quiet, which was not a difficult task, really, as the Mars expedition was believed by the general public to be still on the planet and not expected back for another year. The security measures were stringent just the same. We reached our hotel suite via a back entrance and deserted corridors. We were then left for the night, and a police guard placed outside our door, not so much to keep us in as to keep inquisitive people out. The guard also brought our meals and, on one or two occasions, helped us eat them. During the afternoon of the following day, the chief controller of the lunar base called for Jet in a closed car and took him down to the Space Fleet headquarters.
How much longer are they going to keep Jet down there?
Oh, if he's up back in an hour, I'm turning it. Still in midnight already. And do you think he can stop looking out of the window, Lemmy?
Hey?
I'd like to put the light on.
You can go into your own room and put the light on, can't you?
What's the attraction out there, anyway?
I like to watch the people in the park and hear the hum of the traffic.
There are people in the park at this time of night?
You'd be surprised. Oh, it's good to get a breath of fresh London air again. I bet the air in the East End smells even sweeter. What wouldn't I give to be back there now, walking through the old streets again?
There's a fat chance of that. They won't even let us take a walk in the park.
How long are they going to treat us like this? Like we was a litter of prize pups. Too valuable to let out except on a lead.
Yeah, valuable's right. Look, Lemmy,
What that?
that couple walking down there with a dog.
Oh, don't. It makes me think of Becky.
What, the dog?
Do me a favor, Mitch. It's not so bad for you. Your home's in Australia, but mine's here in London. And Becky's not above a couple of miles from here, and she doesn't even know I'm in town. They won't even let me call her up on the phone. What were you going to say about those two down there?
I was going to say that if the Martians do invade, neither they nor anyone else will ever have a park to walk through again.
So?
So he should stop beefing about being shut up and realize that we're kept out of sight and guarded night and day because we are valuable. Because Jet, Doc, you and me are the only 4 people on this globe who have first-hand knowledge of what might be in store for the Earth.
And that's the reason I can't sit here in this window and take a breather?
Well, what if somebody recognizes you, realizes we're back? Somebody else would have to answer some mighty awkward questions.
But it's dark and we're on the top floor.
Oh, Mitch is right, Lemmy. We can't take any risks. The slightest inkling of what was afoot did get out. That sounds like Jet's back anyway. So draw the curtains, Lemmy, and let's put on the light, huh?
Yes, Doc.
That's more like it.
Well, you're back at last.
Hey, what went on down there? Why did they keep us so long? It's all settled, gentlemen. We're going back to Mars.
What exactly is the purpose of the trip?
They need more information. We have to try and get it.
What kind of information?
All kinds. About the invasion plans, how it'll be done, the kind of ships they'll be using, how they're propelled, and what kind of weapon they're most likely to be vulnerable to.
They don't want much, do they? We taking any other ships with us?
2, but no crews. They don't want to risk having another Whittaker aboard.
They'll be remote controlled from the flagship.
Huh?
Anything else?
Well, we're to try to bring back at least one conditioned man or woman. If possible, someone who hasn't been up there very long.
That's not going to be easy.
Nothing is going to be easy. In fact, it's realized that we're taking a considerable risk.
That's an understatement, if ever I heard one. We'd be lucky to get back at all.
Well, at least we have some idea of what we're up against this time.
That's what worries me.
Anyhow, that's all I can tell you at the moment. We'll get our marching orders in due course. Now, we'd better get to bed. We have to be up early in the morning, all of us. What for? There's a car calling for us at 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock? Where are we going?
I don't know, except that it's to an observatory somewhere outside London.
What's the idea, Jet?
Well, that we'll only know when we get there. Now, go to your rooms and get what sleep you can. The guard will bring you breakfast at 3:30. Good night. Hi, Jeff.
Good night, Jet.
Professor Hadley, how do you do? Stephen Mitchell. Hello. Dr. Matthews.
Glad to make your acquaintance, Professor.
And Lemmy Bonnet.
Pleased to meet you, I'm sure.
A pleasure indeed to meet you, gentlemen. I spend my life gazing at the stars. You spend yours flying among them. I have to admit I'm a wee bit envious.
The professor has something interesting to show you.
If you'll step this way, please, and if you'll no mind, I'll shut out the lights. We'll see the plates much better then.
The plates?
The photographic plates.
Oh, the photo. Oh.
There. Now, if you'll come in a wee bit closer, Captain, you'll be able to see much better. You recognize what's on this photograph, of course.
I'm not sure. There are so many stars, it's difficult to pick. Oh, yes, that's the region of Hercules.
Precisely. How well do you know this constellation?
I know it in outline.
Aye, well, that will do for our purpose. Look in particular at the area below the cluster, just above the star marked Zeta.
Yes.
You see that little group of elongated images?
Yes, I've never seen those before.
Do you all see them, gentlemen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but they must be moving pretty fast to produce trails that length.
Aye, they're certainly moving fast. Look at this plate taken only 2 hours later. The same images appear in an entirely different part of the constellation, and you'll notice that one of the trails is well ahead of the others now.
So, they're not traveling at the same speed.
No, Mr. Barnett. In fact, although these objects seem to keep together most of the time, their speeds vary considerably as a group as well as individually. And their track is no more constant than their speed, as you'll see on this next plate. Here, you see their position is much lower. In fact, they've very nearly moved out of Hercules entirely, down into the region of Ophiuchus, and all in the course of one evening. That can only mean one of two things. That their speed is far greater than anything ever seen in the heavens before, with the exception of meteors, of course, or that they're very close to the Earth.
Which must be the right answer.
Precisely. There's no doubting it, gentlemen. These objects, whatever they are encircling the Earth, 6,000 miles above its surface. And they've been doing it for at least 2 weeks.
Blimey, the Martians. They're already here.
Is this particular group the only one you've discovered, Professor?
Aye, but that doesn't rule out the possibility of there being others.
You're quite sure they're not experimental orbital rockets launched from Earth?
Quite sure.
Sir, how do they look through the telescope?
Roughly circular and nearly a mile in diameter.
What? They can't be spaceships, then.
If it were not for their extraordinary behavior and their proximity to the Earth, I'd say they were asteroids, great chunks of rock adrift in space.
Are they visible now in daylight?
No. And they'll be below the horizon now anyway, but other observatories on the night side of Earth will be tracking them.
What would be their present position?
The last time I saw them, they were in Aquila. That was just before dawn.
Do they mean anything to you, Captain?
If you mean in relation to our visit to Mars, no, they don't.
You saw nothing like it during your trip? Anywhere near the planet? On it even?
No, sir.
The Martian ships were spherical, but made of some kind of metal. And they were quite small as spaceships go, 60 feet in diameter at the most. These things are a mile across.
Aw, thank you so much. Thank you for the drop in. I appreciate it. If you need to go to bed, go to bed.
Nah, Jet.
Here, don't look at me. I don't know.
Sir, how soon could an orbital rocket, a manned one, I mean, be got ready for takeoff?
Be got ready.
Then may I suggest you order one to be got ready? The only way is to go up there and take a close look at them. And that's just what we intend to do.
But yeah, no, it's always good to hear from you, lad. If you need to go to bed, go to bed. I understand.
Episode 1 of Journey into Space. Taking part in this recording were Andrew Foles as Jet Morgan, Alfie Bass as Lemmy, Guy Kingsley Pointer as Doc, and Don Sharp as Mitch. Other parts were played by David Jacobs and Alan Tilton. The orchestra was conducted by Van Phillips, who also composed the music.
Mm-hmm. I do thank you, though, Masalana.
And produced for the BBC by Charles Tilton.
Hope you get some good rest and have a great one.
And episode 2 of Journey into Space can be heard at the same time next week.
Journey into Space.
Yeah, anytime. I just feel bad I haven't been able to catch you drawing all. No, you're okay. You're all right. I get it. Look, I'm just glad. I'm just glad that you enjoy my work. It's really all it is. How does this go? Orange. That one's orange. Which means...
Since Jet Morgan set out on his ill-fated trip to Mars. And now, with the remnants of his crew, he has returned home, bringing with him the startling news that the Martians are preparing to invade the Earth. The invasion is not expected until 1986, so it is believed the Earth has 14 years in which to prepare to meet this threat from space. And then, early one morning, Jet and the crew of the Discovery are taken to an astronomical observatory outside London and shown photographs of a group of unidentified objects, which, according to the director of the observatory, are encircling the Earth some 6,000 miles above its surface. Jet decides to take Lemmy and a passenger-carrying orbital rocket out into space to investigate the...
But you're okay.
Well, she's all ready, Captain Morgan. It will take off just after sunset. The asteroid...
I know that you get us sleepy, but if you need to go to bed, thank you for stopping by and have an amazing one.
Takeoff and final orbital speed have been timed to match those of the asteroid. But once you're in speed flight, you can maneuver the ship yourself within limits.
Will Doc and I be able to follow the proceedings?
Certainly, Mr. Mitchell. I've arranged for you both to watch the whole course of events from the main control. Now there are your crew suits, and I'll call for you in the wagon in half an hour.
Thank you.
Well, good luck, Jet, and you, Lemmy.
Thank you, Doc. If we land on one of those asteroids, I'll bring you back a stick of rock as a souvenir.
Fat chance there is of that, but good luck all the same. See you both sometime tomorrow. So long, Mitch.
Now, gentlemen, if you'll just follow me...
All right, Lemmy. Put on your suit.
Yes, Jet.
All right, in you go.
Thank you, sir.
And you, Lemmy.
Ah,
Sorry the space is so confined, but this is no passenger ship.
what, no takeoff couches?
No, Lemmy, reclining chairs.
Oh, don't worry about it, sir.
Aw,
Thank you.
And I'll step out onto the other
enjoying some time with the friendos. It's always nice.
Chunks of rocks do it.
It's always nice.
Sophia, lock in the main door.
Airlock, contact.
Let's get this
Carry out pre-takeoff check.
taken care of. Shoot, that's gonna be red, so I gotta like that. Deselect that.
Hello, sir. Pre-takeoff check now completed. Awaiting your orders.
Now hand you over to control. Over.
Time, 0 minus 5 minutes. Rocket ship X412, launching platform clear. Takeoff in 5 minutes. Are you ready?
Ready, control. Thank you. Teleview, Lemmy.
Televiewer on.
Gyro.
Contact.
Safety straps.
In place and secure.
Then lower your seat to reclining position.
Lowered.
Now remember, as soon as the motors are fired, relax.
Oh, if I had just a couple of hot towels on my face, I'd fall asleep.
Hello, control. All set now.
Stand by. Zero minus 2 minutes. Zero minus 1 minute.
This is a ridiculous cloth. This is very ridiculous. Don't do what I did and make your characters have ridiculous colors.
0 minus 10 seconds. 5, 4,
Stand by. Here we go.
Change at Clapham Junction.
1.
They are fancy, Abel. You're right. They are fancy.
0 plus 15 seconds.
Expand.
Oh, Jet! Me lungs! It's agony!
Yell, shout, sing or something. Sean,
Mm.
body, lies, betrayed, Sean,
Wait a minute. What? What's the minute that I'm waiting? Yes, I did.
Oh, blimey. That's better. I thought for a minute I'd be pushed right through this seat.
Well, stay put. We're not finished yet, Lemmy.
I did.
Hello, rocket ship. Boost has now been jettisoned. Stand by for firing of second stage.
Oh, no.
Quiet, Lemmy. Hello, Control. All okay here?
I'm now affiliate. That is right. Why no what? Why no what? Why didn't I tell you?
I think I volunteered for this.
Maximum velocity will be reached in 8 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, because I wanted it to be a surprise.
It'll soon be over. That's it. The motor's cut. We've made it.
Thank goodness. I wouldn't go through that again for all the rice in China.
All right, Lemmy. Now take over the radio.
All that rice.
Manual operation.
Yes, Jet.
Hello, rocket ship. Your maximum speed has now been reached.
Thank you, Control.
Your height is 78 miles. You'll proceed along your present trajectory until the orbit of the objects you're pursuing has been reached. Then it's up to you to change the angle of your flight and increase speed. By that time, you'll have passed halfway around the globe.
Yes, we know all about that, mate.
Roger.
And you might tell the supervisor to get some atomic equipment installed in these flying saucepans. The takeoff nearly killed me. Anyway, I'll call you later when we get round to your side of the world again.
Okay. You might like to know that it's quite dark on this part of the globe, and those asteroids have already been sighted. Watch out when you turn the corner. You might run slap into them.
Oh, will we?
Approaching the night side of Earth now, Lemmy. Switch on the radar.
Right.
Any response?
Oh, give it a chance to warm up. Shall I put on the forward televiewer?
No need, Lemmy. I'll look out from the pilot's window.
Ah, the radar's alive now, mate. But she's not responding.
Hello, Control. Morgan calling.
Hello, Jet. Receiving you loud and clear.
We're just passing over the Earth's terminator. Radar's on, but we're not getting any signal.
You will.
Can you see those things?
Yes, and they're traveling much faster than usual. You'll have to step lively. Increase your speed by 3,000 miles an hour.
Very well. Increasing speed now.
Hey, Jet, we've got something. On the screen. French stepping hippopotamus. We found them.
Hold on a moment. Now, where?
There.
But I am sorry that I didn't tell you. I thought you would know by now.
Same as we saw on
Oh,
the
well.
professor's photograph.
Yes, that's them all
Now
right.
we know.
Strong signals, too. Hello, Control.
Hello, Jet. This is Mitch.
We've picked them up, heading straight for them. We'll give you a running commentary as we approach.
Good on you.
All right, Lemmy. Now get the camera ready and position the telescope.
Yes, mate. Can't be far off now, Jet. Signals are belting in. Can you see them?
Not yet, Lemmy.
Well, you can't be far from them now, Jet. You must see them soon.
Yes, Doc, I can now. Almost directly in our path.
Where, mate? Where?
There.
No, I'm good. Thank you, though.
They seem to be flying in formation, a crescent formation.
Now it's all headed up to partnership.
They said they would be.
Are they asteroids, Jet?
We're still too far to tell, but we should fly right over them. We'll soon see then what they are.
What else could they be but asteroids?
Lemmy, get back to the camera.
Yes, Jet.
And stay there.
Yes.
And stay there, goddammit.
Hello, Control.
Yes, Jet.
We're getting quite close to them now. They are a colossal size.
What are they made of?
Well, they look just as I'd expect.
The real climb
Not
begins.
so jagged or shapeless
Ugh.
as they would be. Very nearly circular, in fact. They haven't changed speed or position since we've been overtaking them.
They are, in fact, just huge pieces of rock. Meteorites, maybe.
Except no meteorites would fly in formation, nor keep a constant orbit so close to the Earth as those things do.
You see nothing else, Jet? Nothing to suggest they might be...
No, Mitch, nothing.
How long before you're directly over them?
Not long now.
Jet.
And how close would it be to the men?
Jet.
2 or 3 miles. Not near enough to see any surface details with the naked eye, but the telescope is in position.
Jet.
What is it, Lemmy?
Don't you hear anything?
What?
The closer we get to those things, the louder it gets.
Yes, I can hear it.
Oh, and I'm beginning to feel all peculiar.
Hello, Jet.
Me too.
Oh, I think I'm going to black out or faint or something.
No, Lemmy, pull yourself together. Keep that camera going, whatever you do.
Jet, can you hear me?
Yes, Jet, I'm doing that already.
Jet, hello. Can you hear me?
Hello? Hello, Doc.
Jet, I can't hold out much longer.
Hello? Hello, Jet.
Is that you, Doc? Doc?
Hello, Jet.
That's Doc? Hello? Who is that? Lemmy, what's happened to you? Oh, what on earth is happening to me? Hello, Control, can you hear me?
No, Jet. They can't hear you.
Who is that?
Surely you haven't forgotten me.
Doc? Hello? Oh, for heaven's sake, answer me. Hello? Hello?
But it's going to be a long while till we get to partnership, so just everybody hold on to your butts. All right, got to get to 500.
Hello, rocket ship X412 control calling. Trying to contact you. Come in, please. They still don't answer.
Give them another try, Doc. If they don't answer this time, we'll have to do something about getting them down. Hello, Jet. Doc calling. Calling rocket ship X412. Come in, please.
What happened? I must have blacked out after all. Are you all right, Jet? Jet? Oh, crikey.
Hello. Hello.
Huh? Who's that?
Calling Jet Morgan aboard rocket ship X412. Come in, please.
Doc. Hello, Doc. Lemmy here.
Lemmy, you can hear us.
Yes. What's all the fuss?
What's all the fuss, he says? We've been calling you for more than 24 hours.
But only a second or two ago, I was taking pictures of those asteroids or whatever they are. In fact, I still had my hands on the guiding control when
Can I find someone else who is consenting and had a nicer butt to hold onto instead of my own?
Those asteroids.
You know, that's a hard pull, my friend. That's a hard pull.
We're not over the same part of Earth we were a couple of minutes ago. It's daylight down below. What's been going on?
Listen carefully, Lemmy.
Yes, Doc.
Is Jet strapped into his seat?
Yes, he is.
Good. Now switch the ship over to automatic control.
Automatic?
Yes. Then go back to your own seat and strap yourself in.
Yes, Doc.
Well,
Automatic control on.
I'm sorry, bud.
Moving over to seat.
I apologize. Nobody's here though, so I'm sorry.
Wait a minute. It's Jet. He's waking up. Hello, mate. How you feeling?
What happened?
You blacked out. We both did. That noise, remember?
Yes, that's right.
Stand by, Lemmy. Firing imminent.
What's going on?
They're taking us down, mate.
But yeah.
Automatic control. So you just sit still and take it easy.
Yes, but what about those...
No use worrying about
No,
it.
you are somebody.
Everything
No.
just as soon as we get down on the deck.
Hello, rocket ship X412 control calling. Are you receiving me? Over.
Hello, Control. Receiving you loud and clear. Over.
Motor about to be fired for descent. Are you ready?
You are somebody.
5 seconds from now.
I just was waiting to tell you. Once I get this done, it'll be nice. I'll have all my emotes.
Then, as we got closer, the noise got louder. And the louder it got, the more it affected us. And the last thing I remember was seeing Lemmy hanging motionless just above his chair in front of the camera, which was still running.
Yes, Jet.
And it continued to do so until the whole reel of film had been used up.
Is there anything on it, sir?
That we'll see in just a few moments.
Oh.
Jet, this voice you heard, we were calling you, you know. You're quite sure you couldn't have mistaken Doc's voice for someone else's?
I'd stake my life on it. It was not Doc's voice. It was McLean's.
What? McLean's?
Did you hear it, Lemmy?
No, Mitch.
No.
I must have passed out by then. I didn't even hear Doc calling.
Who, may I ask, is McLean?
He was formerly a crew member of one of the freighters in the Martian fleet, but we lost him.
You mean he's dead?
He was captured by the Martians, and we had to leave him behind.
How long did this noise take to have its full effect, Jet?
A minute or so, no more. And it seemed to be no time at all before I woke up again. It was more than 24 hours. We were just about to send up another rocket after you. And what happened to those asteroids?
A few moments after you had passed out, they moved across the sky at a fantastic rate. Within half an hour, they disappeared over the eastern horizon.
Where are they now?
Goodness knows. Haven't been seen anywhere in the sky since. Even though dozens of observatories have been on the lookout for them.
Yeah, they left you and your rocket standing, Jet. Even if you'd been conscious and had tried to pursue them, you couldn't have caught them. Not in a million years.
Well, it looks as though the moment they realized they were being observed from close quarters, they got out of the way, and quick.
But how could they? Just huge pieces of rock. We don't know how they did it, Jet. We only know they did.
And where did they come from? Where did they go to?
Well, that we can only guess at, sir. But there's one thing that is crystal clear. The way that noise affected Jet and Lemmy, and Jet hearing a strange voice talking to him just before he blacked out, is almost the identical method used by the Martians to produce the conditioning effect. So, I think we can safely say that those controlled asteroids are from Mars.
You mean the invasion's begun already?
No, not necessarily, Lemmy. They may send advance parties, reconnaissance squads first.
But we never saw anything like those flying rocks. Not during the whole time we were on Mars. The Martian ships were metallic and minute by comparison.
And when we were put to sleep by noises
But
on Mars, we always
thanks for coming in, guys. I appreciate it. Don't think that I don't.
realized we'd even been asleep. It was just like 24 hours had been stolen from our lives without our knowing it.
Hello? Supervisor here.
I'm not doing the most interesting of commentary right now.
Leave it there. I'll pick it up and project it myself. That was the photographic section. The film is ready. Let's take a look at it, shall we?
All right. Okay.
We'll be on in just a few moments.
I suppose you had time to fix the camera, Lemmy, before you blacked out.
Of course I did, Mitch.
What lens were you using?
Telephoto. That's what I was told to use, and I used it. The camera was running just as soon as the objects were sighted.
Oh, there go the lights.
Now we'll see just what the camera did capture.
And there they are. Nearly through the whole screen, don't they?
Not of equal size, that's for certain. The one in the center of the formation seems twice as big as the rest.
The surface is a lot rougher than you thought.
Oh, what'd you have to do last
They
night?
look like miniature moons, and they seem to have little craters on them, all of a uniform size. How big would you say they are?
Diameter about 100 feet.
Will we be getting a close look at them, Jet?
Well,
Were you working hard?
But it was about now that Lemmy began to hear that noise.
Well, they are increasing in size.
Ah, the bot.
The rocks, the asteroids.
Oh no.
Don't you?
What's that, Lemmy?
Dim bots.
Not craters at all. They're circular holes.
That's so weird. I've only had like what? 2, 3 bots? I've never had a bunch of
Lemmy's
bots.
got something there, you know.
Well, if the reel lasts long enough, we should get a really close look at them in about 10 minutes.
They're holes, all right. No doubt about it.
You remember getting this close to them, Jet?
No, sir. Lemmy and I were out cold by this time.
Good grief, what's that? Something's coming out of that thing. Out of one of the holes.
A ship! A spherical ship!
Just like the one we saw on Mars.
And there's another, and another.
There's a dozen of them at least.
Well, that settles that, gentlemen, doesn't it?
It's always kind of random. Yeah, it is kind of random, but a bunch at the same time. You know, they might have seen they might see how many followers he has.
Down on the Earth's surface, you mean?
Where else would they be going?
But surely if that number of craft had landed, they'd have been detected.
Well, they don't seem to be doing
Yeah.
any more than hovering over their parent ship at the moment. Oh, blimey.
The bigger they are, the more bots they have.
Lemmy, there was no one to load up a fresh one.
Oh.
Well, in spite of the shortness of the film, it has told us a lot.
Well, that's putting it mildly, sir.
It's unbelievable.
You saw it with your own eyes, Jet.
No, I'm talking about the method of bringing those ships here. How do they propel those rocks? Well, where did they get them from? They didn't come from the Martian surface.
What do you mean, how do they propel them?
Spheres. Have they since landed on Earth?
I think they must have. But we'll find out.
How?
A worldwide search could be instigated. We should find at least one of them.
I thought all information relating to the Martian invasion was highly secret. How do you keep it secret if you order a worldwide search for their ships?
Imagination. No, I mean, all you have to do is propel it once, and then if you're going at a straightaway, you don't have to propel it anymore. It's not like going through water. Yeah.
The controller from Space HQ arrived that same afternoon. He questioned Jet and Lemmy.
No, if it's going straight to Earth, you don't need to. You don't need propulsion. You just need one push, and then woo.
Through the rocket station supervisor, who called on us in the early light of dawn.
Who is it?
Jenkins.
Oh, come in, sir.
Sorry to wake you at this unearthly hour.
Is something wrong?
There's good reason to believe that one of those spheres has landed.
What? Well, where?
In the Lake District, 2 nights ago.
Anybody see it?
Only 2 people. A couple of campers. Apparently the weather was foul and
Yeah.
raining hard. And they got up and went outside to...
Yeah, I hope you don't need to adjust anything. True that.
Sure. They'd hardly stepped outside when they saw what they took to be a fireball racing through the air above their heads. They saw it descend into a valley.
Did they go down there to investigate?
On the contrary, they were hardly more than kids. What with that and the storm that was going on, they were pretty scared. They got out of that as quickly as they could. Then they got a lift from a passing motorist who dropped them off at the next town when they called at the police station. There they stayed the night.
They told the police what they'd seen, of course.
Yes. The next day, the station sergeant went over to where the 2 kids had camped up on the hill. From up there, he could see that something pretty big had plowed its way through the trees of a wood below. He went down to see what it was, and what he saw sent him running back to the nearest phone box.
What was it?
He described it as a space missile. Thought it must be one of our experimental jobs that had crashed. A report was then sent down to London and from there to us. We have to go and investigate it, in the hope that you and Lemmy can identify it.
But maybe it is one of your space missiles.
No, Jet. This thing is spherical and large enough to carry a crew. Now, how soon could you be ready to leave?
Half an hour.
Good. I'll go and wake up the others.
Giant goddamn spear from Mars. A sphere.
That must be the spot.
That's it, all right. Certainly made a mess of that wood, didn't it?
I'll land to the east of the trees, by the foot of the hill.
Has anything been done about sightseers?
Yes, Doc. Nobody will go within 5 miles.
I believe it's the Forge World Mars.
Don't they wonder what's going on?
Like the sergeant, they all think it's one of our orbital rockets that's come to the sad end. The people are being kept away in case of explosion.
Hey, look, I can see her.
Where, Lemmy?
There, see? In the gap. Just a bit of her. The rest is hidden by the branches of the trees.
Yes, I see her now.
Take it easy, Lemmy. Get back on your seat. We'll be touching down in just a moment. Well, gentlemen?
That's a Martian sphere, all right. Identical in every detail with those we saw on the planet. Exactly the same type as that flying doctor used. And the ones that came chasing after us. when we
Okay,
started to leave.
I'll check it
Do you think
out.
there's anybody in there?
Probably. Hey, Lemmy, what are you doing?
Seeing if there's anyone at home.
Well, don't. Let's walk round, see if we can find the door.
Doesn't seem to be any kind of join or opening in it anywhere near ground level.
There is, sir, if we can find it.
Ah, here it is.
But the wall there is perfectly smooth.
This little button here is the remote control switch for opening the door from outside. The door is always alongside it, as you'll see when I operate it.
Now, wait a minute. You're not going to press it now, are you? Well, just us here?
Why not? We want to get inside, don't we?
But what are these Martians like?
How should we know? We never saw any. Only human beings like ourselves. Or at least they were before the Martians got hold of them.
And you think there'll be human beings in there?
Maybe.
And what if they're not?
Then we'll be the first Earthmen to come face to face with men from another planet.
Go ahead. Open the door.
All right.
Something's happening.
But she doesn't open.
Try again, Jeff.
No. It's no good. Mechanism doesn't function. Yeah, well, now what do we do? We'll have to burn our way through. How about it, sir? Could you get us the equipment to do the job?
I could, but it will take some time.
Go in the helicopter, sir. We'll stand guard here until you get back.
Yes, well, if that thing does open and you need help, call up control point. And 50 armed policemen will come driving over here, just as quick as they can make it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too free with the arms. One of the men in that ship might be a long-lost relative of yours.
What was that?
You better hurry, sir, if we're to have that equipment before it gets dark.
Very well. I only hope we have gear powerful enough to cut through that ship. What kind of metal is that thing made of?
How much longer is he going to be with that stuff? We could have burned our way through and out the other side by now.
Oh, give him time, Lemmy. He's hardly been gone an hour.
Well, at this rate, we'll be here all night.
Goddamn fly.
Something's happening. The door, it's opening.
Stand back, Mitch. Somebody might come out.
Well, they're certainly taking their time about it.
But what caused the door to open?
Search me, Doc. Unless our working on it accidentally completed the circuit or something, I don't know.
Well, how long do we wait here, waiting for them to show themselves?
We'll give them 10 minutes. If nobody's appeared by then, we're going in.
The 10 minutes is up, Jet.
Well, I'll go. The rest of you wait here.
No, I'm coming with you. You can't go in there alone.
All right, if you must.
Then stick close together and take your time.
Come on, Doc. Let's get it over. Now, keep close to me, Doc.
Yeah.
I'll lead the way.
There doesn't seem to be anybody down in this section.
No. Have a good look around, Doc.
It doesn't seem to be any different from the sphere we saw on Mars. Same control panel, same pillar in the middle of the cabin.
Yes, but that ship had a crew, Doc.
Same fly in my goddamn room.
Controls were which?
No, I can't say I can. But don't go touching anything, Doc.
Would I be likely to? What's that? Hey, this lever, it moved.
What? You sure you didn't touch something?
Yes, Jet. It moved down at least 3 inches.
On its own?
And now a light has come on. There goes the lever back again. Back to its former position.
There must be someone in here. The upper cabin, maybe. Come on.
Now, wait a minute, Jet. If there is somebody up there...
That's just what we came in here to find out, isn't it?
I hate this thing to take off.
I don't think it can take off. If it could, it would have done so 2 days ago. As soon as it was realized its landing had been discovered.
Well, if you say so, I'm game.
Do you remember how to get into the upper section?
Yeah, by this central pillar. It's hollow inside and leads up there. Door control should be here somewhere. Oh, here it is.
And the door's opening. Come on, there's a ladder fixed to the wall.
Watch your step.
Say, look at this.
Good grief. The place is absolutely jammed with all kinds of gear.
A little different from the last one we were in, eh, Doc? The upper section in that one was more or less empty.
Couldn't possibly be anyone up here. There's hardly room to move around.
Then the opening of the main door and the operation of the flying controls must be remote controlled. Yes, that's why that control panel downstairs was alive.
But who controls it?
Somebody up in those asteroids, Doc. They might even know we're in here. Hear every word we're saying. Maybe even see us.
Well, in that case, and now we've satisfied our curiosity, let's... Hey, listen, what's that?
The outer door. It's closing.
Land's sakes, let's get out of here quick before this thing takes off with us in it.
That was episode 2 of Journey into Space. Taking part in this recording were Andrew Folds as Jet Morgan, Alfie Bass as Lemmy, Guy Kingsley Pointer as Doc, and Don Sharp as Mitch. Other parts were played by David Jacobs and John Casaban. The orchestra was conducted by Van Phillips, who also composed the music. Journey into Space was written and produced for the BBC by Charles Chilton.
And you can hear episode 3 at the same time next week here on Radio 2.
Journey into Space. The BBC presents Jet Morgan in The World in Peril. A spaceship believed to be part of an invasion fleet from Mars has landed in the Lake District. As soon as the news reached London, Jet Morgan, Doc, Mitch and Lemmy were flown to the spot by helicopter to identify the strange craft which had crashed in a wood and was thought still to contain a crew. All efforts to enter the ship by normal means failed, and Jet finally decided to burn his way through the door with high-powered acetylene equipment. But before it arrived, The Sphere's door opened of its own accord. As nobody came out of the ship, Jet and Doc decided to go in.
It's about time they came out, isn't it, Mitch?
I'll give them a chance, Lemmy. They've hardly been gone 2 minutes.
Well, that's all they'd need to see if there's anybody in there. I think we should call up Control Point and get some of those coppers over here.
Look, the police are to be called only in an emergency. There isn't one yet that I can see.
Oh, isn't there? Look at that. The door. It's closing.
Great Scott.
Jet, Doc.
Lemmy, look out! Stand back!
Oh, crikey, it's shut. And they're still in there.
Fancy trying to go in. If you'd got caught in that door, it would have crushed you to pulp.
I wanted to warn them, Mitch. What are we going to do now? Jet, Doc, can you hear us?
Jet! Doc! No, Lemmy, I don't think they can.
Oh.
The walls of this thing are too solid.
Hey, listen. That must be them. They're all right. There, see if they reply.
Yeah, they do.
So, we still can't get them out.
I'll try the outside control again.
It didn't open it before. Why should it now?
Well, there's no harm in trying.
It's no good, Mitch. We'll have to wait for the proper equipment to arrive.
There's something coming now. Just appeared from behind the hill.
Yeah.
Look, you wait here, Lemmy. Give that ship an occasional kick to let Jet and Doc know we haven't forgotten them.
All right.
I'll go over and meet the helicopter and give the supervisor a hand to bring their stuff over here.
All right, yes, mate. Oh, don't you worry, Jet boy. We'll get you out of there, mate, even if we have to use a tin opener. Hey? Oh, no! Ah! The door, it's opening! Jet! Doc!
All right, Doc. How'd you get quick? You bet.
Oh, thank goodness you're safe, mate. We thought that thing was going to take off with you in it.
So did we. In fact, we're certain that's what it tried to do.
What did you do, Lemmy? How did you get the door open?
I didn't do anything. It opened up all on its own.
Where's Mitch?
Gone over to meet the copter and help the supervisor with the assembling equipment.
Supervisor, did you say?
Of course, Doc.
Well,
Why?
here's Mitch now, but it's not Jenkins with him. It's the lunar controller.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Morning, sir.
I flew out from London the moment I heard about this ship landing. Mitch tells me you've already been inside.
That's right, sir, and it's empty. We searched the upper and the lower cabins, but there was no sign of anybody.
Well, it's been sitting here for nearly 48 hours. Its crew have had plenty of time to leave the ship and get well away.
Always supposing it carried a crew.
Why else would it land, Doc? What would be the point? Now, it's my belief that once this ship had landed and its crew had left it, it should have returned to its parent ship out in space, but something has gone wrong and it can't take off.
You mean it's remote controlled by those asteroids you saw?
Yes, sir. It tried to take off while we were in it, but it couldn't leave the ground. That's why the door keeps opening. Whoever's operating the controls seems to be pressing every button in the hope that something will happen.
Yeah, there she goes again.
Hey, we'd better stand well back, sir. Anything might happen.
That's the door closed once more.
Here, do you think the power circuit in there is so arranged that the ship can't take off unless the door is properly closed? You know, like on a tube train.
It's a thought.
Well, if that's the case and we wedged the door open, it would never take off.
Hey, look at her now, quivering like a piece of jelly.
She's trying to rise.
It's no go, is it? That thing's definitely on the blink.
Well, if it can't take off, there's no danger of our losing it. Our more immediate problem is to find its crew.
But what do they look like, sir? Are they Martians or are they Earthmen? People taken to Mars, put in a conditioned state, and then sent back here as spies. A fifth column to prepare the way for the major invasion that'll come later.
But what if they are Martians after all?
Then finding them shouldn't be too hard. They couldn't possibly look like Earthmen. There's bound to be some marked difference.
But what? They may not look like anything.
What do you mean by that, Lemmy?
Well, I mean, for all we know, a Martian might be invisible. Maybe there is a crew in that ship after all, sitting in there, opening and closing the door on us and generally trying to take the mickey.
That's about the worst suggestion that's been made up to now.
Oh. Aye. They must have heard me.
It's trying to take off again.
And they're succeeding this time. It's definitely moving.
Look out, Duck! Lemmy, get down!
Oh, I thought for a minute it got me. Where did it go?
Skimmed just above the ground for a few yards and then went into a vertical takeoff. Oh, look at it now. No more than a tiny spot in the sky. What a fantastic climbing rate. If there was anybody in it, they'd be squashed flat.
Well, that settles that, gentlemen. There go all our hopes of capturing that ship.
Yeah, now we'll never know how it works. Let me call up Control Point and tell them we won't be needing that equipment after all.
Yes, Jet.
What do we do now, sir?
Search every square inch within a radius of a couple of 100 yards. Look for footprints. Anything that could give us some clue as to what kind of people came out of that ship.
Very well, sir. We'll split up. Start with a small area and gradually increase it.
Sir. Yes, Doc?
we found something. At least Mitch has.
Where?
On the other side of the wood. Footprints. But whether they have anything to do with the crew that left that ship, we can't say.
There they are. Couldn't be plainer. The ground must have been quite soft when these impressions were made, though it's dried out since, which means it was almost certainly raining when whoever made these prints passed this way.
Well, the night the ship landed, there was a storm raging.
They look like the impressions of 2 pairs of golfing shoes. And whoever was wearing them must have been heading for the hilltop.
A couple of ramblers. That's the sort of shoes they might wear.
Well, I'll get somebody from Control Point to come over here and photograph them and take some cuts. Meanwhile, let's head up the hill ourselves, shall we?
Well, this must be about where those 2 campers who first saw the ship pitched their tents.
Maybe it's their tracks we're following.
Could be. But this is also the way to the nearest road where anybody leaving the ship would be likely to make for. Let's keep going as far as the highway anyway. Spread out, walk slowly, and keep your eyes open.
Well, here we are on the road, and no further sign of them.
Well, they certainly headed in this direction. We'll search both sides of the road for a mile each way. You and me this side, Jet. Doc, Lemmy and Mitch on the other.
Right, okay, sir.
Away you go, then.
Just trying to color on all of this. It's because it's so annoying. It's all these little bits.
Doc?
Not a thing, I'm afraid.
Mitch?
Same with me.
So, why
Such
should I be
a
lucky
pain
than
in
anybody
the
else?
Well, I
ass.
still believe that whoever left those prints came as far as this road. Then they were either given the lift or they walked as
Such a
far as the
pain
next
in
town. In
the
either case, they
ass.
must have been seen. If not during the night, then either yesterday or today.
How do we find out?
We get the police to help us.
To find 2 people we can't even describe?
2 people wearing exactly the same type of shoe cannot be such a common occurrence. If they put up at a nearby town, they might well have had the hotel porter clean their shoes for them. They'd walked through plenty of mud.
It's a long shot, but I suppose it might lead to something.
Long or not, it's the only thing we've got. If we can trace these 2, it might help us to track down the rest.
The rest?
Don't let's fool ourselves that this was the only ship to reach Earth. Dozens of spheres left those asteroids, and they must have landed somewhere. If somebody left this ship, why not the others?
Why not? And how many others?
See who that is, Lemmy.
Well, let's hope it's the tea. I'm dying of thirst. Oh, good morning. Come in.
Good morning, Lemmy.
It's the controller, Jet.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hello, sir. What news?
We drew a blank there, I'm afraid. The police checked up with every hotel in the district, but nobody was wearing a shoe with a pattern like the one we found in the mud. Whoever made those must have left the Lake District that night. Got a lift along the road.
Well, by now they might be anywhere.
If you go around checking every hotel in the country, it'll be Christmas before you're finished. And by that time, they would have worn out the shoes they got and bought a couple of new pairs.
Lemmy.
Wow.
A nationwide checkup will take time, and we have to work fast. Our best bet would be to find the motorist who gave those 2 men a lift.
Well, how can you without appealing to him to come forward? And once you do that, you put paid to all hope of a secret inquiry.
We can cover up the real reason if we have to, but first we'll try it without. The police are going to let us have reports of every motoring incident of which they have a record for a week back. Meanwhile, Jet, perhaps you'd like to take a look at this.
What is it?
Read it for yourself and see.
Good heavens. Other ships have landed. How many?
Where?
3. One in Australia, one in India, and the last in South America.
All of them identical with the one we saw.
Was anybody seen to come out of them?
No, they landed in remote places and was spotted by only a few people. By the time reports of the landings had reached official sources, the spheres had taken off again.
How long did they stay down?
Not long. Apparently, they had no trouble taking off.
And their crews, if they had any, haven't been found?
No, which is all the more reason why we must intensify our search. It occurred to me that if our sphere did crash...
Well, there's no doubt about that, sir, judging from the mess it made of the trees.
Then there's a likelihood of at least one of the men we're after being injured. That's another clue to their identification. If we can ever find anybody who picked them up. Well, that's all I have to say for now.
My
I'll
God.
be paying you another visit.
Very well, sir.
And, incidentally, I received news from Space HQ that the Discovery and 2 freighters...
Space
were...
HQ.
You're still willing to return to Mars, I take it?
Of course, sir.
Good. And I'll see you again soon.
Yes, sir.
Is it canon? I don't know if it's canon. Couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you.
If you finish that lot, Lemmy, you can start plowing through these.
Oh, turn it up, Mitch. I've read so many reports, I'm going goggle-eyed. Parking offences, speeding, shooting the lights. And you know, I never realised so many people drove while under the influence. Dozens of them.
Get down to it, Lemmy. We've got lots more to go through.
But none of these fellas could ever have been anywhere near Mars. They behave too normally.
Hey, here's something.
What, Doc?
Any of you read this case before? A fellow called Moore.
What did he do?
That's the whole point. He didn't do anything.
What was that?
Yeah, picked up in Hyde Park near Marble Arch on the evening of the 3rd of July.
The day after the ship landed.
So, what's this nothing he was doing?
Found at the wheel in a stupefied state, not fit to be in control of his vehicle.
Oh, I've got a couple like that.
You had one too many.
That's what the constable thought, but he was wrong. Police doctor found the man was ill and had him taken to the hospital.
What is wrong with him?
Apparent loss of memory. Thought he was in Warrington instead of London. And his temperature was abnormally low.
Where does he live?
Manchester, a commercial traveler. But unless he's considerably improved since this report was made out, at the moment he's in Paddington Hospital.
And I think we better see him. Lemmy, get the controller on the phone, will you?
Yes, mate.
Now, look, don't let's get too excited. This may have nothing to do with what we're looking for.
Hello. Special line. A247. Yeah, that's right. Now,
Morgan speaking. Oh, hello, sir. Oh. Yes, very well, sir.
Hey, Strawberry.
Moore was discharged from hospital 2 days ago.
Oh, no.
Where's he now?
They presume he's gone back home. Anyhow, the controller's getting onto it, and if he is in Manchester, they'll have him flown down here on the next available plane.
Good. I'd very much like to meet Mr. Moore.
Me too, Lemmy.
Hope you're doing good. Or trying to do well as well. I'm just listening to this. I'm doing alright. Could be better, could be worse. Getting all this done. As you can clearly tell, he's got too colorful. Yes, I will buy a Smash this week. It'll be fun. We will fight, and I shall defeat you.
Anything else?
No, sir.
I shall defeat you.
We might as well see him and get it over. Very well.
Yeah, this upcoming week.
The men who went to Mars.
It's unlikely. Like most other people, he doesn't know the fleet has returned yet. But to be safe, you'd better handle him, Doc.
Okay, Jet.
The rest of us will go into the next room. He's not likely to recognize just one of us, but the four of us together...
So we'll get that. I'll get that set up, and it'll be real cool.
Mr. Moore, this is Dr. Matthews. Pleased to meet
Yeah,
you.
next
How do you
week.
do?
Yeah,
Sit down.
this upcoming week.
I don't mind if I do.
This upcoming
I'd like to ask
week.
you a few questions, Mr. Moore. You can be perfectly frank with him.
Right? Am I crazy?
Why should I? I've got nothing to be ashamed of. Good.
You can't beat what isn't deployed. I can.
That's right.
True.
I can't understand it. 1 minute I was driving near Warrington.
Next week. Okay. I mean, if you think it's next week, I'll wait till next week. Not a problem.
Be in one place one moment and in another the next.
I didn't say I was. I said it seemed like it.
What time were you in Warrington?
In the early hours of the morning. But when I woke up in Hyde Park, it was the evening of the next day. And the funny thing spent the night in Warrington. I had the hotel booked.
Did you notice anything strange before this loss of memory occurred?
Aye, I did. I don't like to admit this, but long before I got to Warrington, funny things were happening.
What things?
Well, tell me, Doctor, is it possible for a man to have nightmares while he's awake?
I can't say I've ever heard of such a thing.
Well, it happened to me.
Uh-oh.
You see, I'd called at Penrith. That's in the Lake District, you know. And by the time I started out for Warrington, which was my next port of call, it was already dark.
Well?
I'd already done a full day's driving and was feeling pretty tired, so I chose to drive along the secondary roads to avoid the heavy traffic, you see. You know, I found it difficult
All right.
to take.
I'm not surprised.
Well, how can
Oh, that'll be so
I
cool.
didn't hide anything from you?
Good.
Nice. Nice.
One of the worst I've driven through for a long time. I tell you, if I'd seen an hotel or an inn right there, I'd have packed it in.
I hope they do well.
But there was nothing for it but to press Then it happened.
I think I'm central.
The bad dream, the nightmare.
Tell me about it, Mr. Moore.
I'm driving along.
I live in the central.
I'm not a fool, you know. Talking to myself to keep awake, when suddenly there's a flash of lightning, and I see two men standing at the side of the road.
You are. I am. So right when I'm getting ready for work, that's when that's what it will be 1.
What's the trouble?
Yeah.
He's hurt. This is a fine night to choose for an accident. You want to live?
Right when I'll be ready to go to work.
Oh, always glad to help someone in trouble. Is your friend badly hurt?
It is nothing but difficult for him to walk.
Well, put him in the back seat. He can stretch out there. Hang on a minute. I'll come down and give you a hand.
No, I will manage. Just open the rear door.
He seems to be in a pretty bad way. Let me come down and help.
No, just open the door.
Oh, all right, if you say so.
Thank you. Don't touch him.
I wasn't going to touch him. Just moving a few things off the seat.
No, you're right. I'm not ready to go to work.
He can sleep now.
Put your rucksack on the floor. There's plenty of room. Now, all set?
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
It's a foul night. I said it's a foul night.
Yes, it's a foul night.
What you doing up in the lakes? On a walking tour?
Yes.
Have you walked far today?
Very far.
Ah, beautiful country up here. Not like it anywhere.
Very beautiful.
How did you come to be out on the road in such a lonely spot at this time of night?
My companion fell and hurt his leg, and then we got lost.
Lucky for you, you found the road. You could have wandered through these hills until morning. Still found yourselves miles from the nearest village.
Very lucky.
Very lucky indeed.
Ooh, I've never known a July so cold and wet as this one.
Very wet.
Aye, very wet.
Oh my goodness.
It is very hot in here. I would like to open the window.
Oh, well, if you must. But I wouldn't open it too wide. You must be soaked to the skin. You'll catch your death of cold, you and your friend. Here, how about him? Is he asleep?
He is asleep.
How do you know? You didn't even look to see.
He is asleep.
Where exactly are you heading for?
Where are you going?
Warrington. Should have been there by now, but I got held up at Penrith. I can drop you off at the next town or anywhere along the road.
I thought perhaps you would be going to London.
As a matter of fact, I am, but not until tomorrow.
Tomorrow is no good. I must get there as soon as possible.
I thought you said you were on a walking tour of the lakes.
I did not say so. You assumed it.
You're not a very friendly character, are you? You seem to forget I saved you from an almost certain night out in this storm.
You can stop the car and we will get out.
Nah, don't go getting on your high horse. I don't want to turn either of you out. Wouldn't be right in this weather.
Wouldn't be right.
You might close that window up a little. There's a draft blowing round my legs and I'm beginning to feel right cold.
The wind is cool and pleasant.
Well, I find it far from pleasant. At least you can put it up halfway. Thank you.
He had a Martian with him. Cold-blooded monster. From the Forge world, Mars. You know them Forge worlds.
We are still at least 10 miles from Warrington.
I've been driving for nearly 18 hours. I'm tired. I find it difficult to keep awake.
You want me to drive?
No, I've got a flask of coffee here. I'd like some of it. Any objections? It's not very warm. Hardly surprising, I suppose. I've had it in here nearly 20 hours. Here, drink this. It'll put some warmth into you. Well, go on, take it. Go on, it's not poisoned.
Thank you.
What's the matter? Don't you like it?
It's too hot. I cannot drink it.
Too hot? God, it's hardly warm.
Perhaps later, when it has cooled off a little.
Well, you're a Roman and no mistake. First you sit there by the window in soaking wet clothes and say you enjoy the draft. Then you can't drink a cup of lukewarm coffee because it's too hot.
Let us get on. We're losing time.
Well, I can't take you much further.
We are going to London.
You may be, but I'm not. I'm only going as far as the next town. I've got an hotel room booked.
We are going to London.
Well, then you'll have to find someone else to take you. I can't. What are you looking at me like that for?
We are going to London.
Hey, what are you doing? Take your hands off me. Oh, good heavens. Your hands. They're so cold. Oh, they're like ice. Help! Help!
Help! He's so cold. His hands, they're chilly. I can't handle it. No. Don't touch me with your chilly hands.
All right, gentlemen. You may come in now. He's gone.
Well?
He's the one who gave them the lift, all right.
And who are they? Martians or are they Earthmen?
Conditioned Earthmen who have returned from Mars.
Yeah, did you get a full description of them?
Of one, yes, but the injured one more hardly saw.
Does the description fit anyone we know? McLean, maybe? It was his voice I heard up there among those asteroids, I swear it.
It might well be McLean. It might be anybody.
Well, whoever he is, he shouldn't be difficult to trace. A man with very cold hands who cannot drink hot liquids or stand high temperatures.
What's the purpose of their landing here?
They must have been sent here to prepare the way for the invasion.
But what can they do?
Oh, plenty of things. They don't look any different from the rest of us, so they could easily get themselves jobs in high places. The power they have to hypnotize could enable them to wrest official information on our defense plans or anything else from people who had no idea they'd given it.
In fact, if enough of them were landed, the whole country could well be completely at their mercy in no time at all.
And not only this country.
No, it could happen the world over. And then, when all was ready, the Martians need only appear to take over the Earth at their leisure.
The world could wake up one morning to find itself conquered, yet not know it.
Oh, turn it up, Jet. What are you trying to do? Frighten the life out of me?
But there's a great deal in what Jet says, Lemmy. If you hadn't escaped from Mars, McLean and thousands like him could have landed on Earth and been absorbed into dozens of countries and nobody suspect a thing.
Perhaps they already have.
I know, now don't.
Well, gentlemen, I must get down to Space HQ and report this immediately.
Very well, sir.
And don't forget, if you shake hands with anyone with icy mitts, hang on and don't let go.
I will, Lemmy. Goodbye for now.
A nationwide search began, but not a trace of the two men was found. If they were in London, as was supposed, the city had, apparently, just swallowed them up. 2 weeks later, the four of us were taken to space headquarters and told to be ready to leave for the moon base at a moment's notice. It was still intended that we should return to the Red Planet to pick up what information we could about the Martian invasion. For, in spite of the appearance of the asteroids in the sky and spheres down on Earth, Space HQ still believed that the main attack would not take place until 1986. We returned to our hotel to await transport to an airport outside London.
Well, that's me all packed up. Hello, London, and goodbye. I've never spent so long in one place and seen so little of it.
Consider yourself lucky. You at least saw your home. That's more than the rest of us did.
Well, what are you grumbling about? We'll be heading for Australia tomorrow, won't we?
At some remote launching ground in the outback. My home doesn't happen to be in the outback. Here, sit on top of this case for me so I can close it.
What do you got in there? Nelson's column?
What time is it, Jet?
Close on midnight. Car should be here soon. Morgan speaking. Car, hello, sir. Ah, I see. Very well, we'll see you at the airport then. Oh, yes, sir. That's quite all right. We understand. Goodbye, sir. Well, that was the controller. He won't be coming with us after all.
No?
He's been delayed. Says he'll meet us there. But our transport is already on its way.
But did he say which field we're going to?
No, but then he wouldn't, not over the phone.
No, I suppose not.
Well, I better get a move on. I've hardly started packing yet.
Me neither. Not that it'll take me long.
I see you, that is, Lemmy.
Yes, Jet.
Your car's here, sir. Allow me to help you down with your luggage.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Mine's the brown one, over there by the bed.
It was the guard who'd knocked at the door. One of the men who, ever since we'd arrived in London, had kept watch outside our hotel suite 24 hours a day. The corridors were deserted as the guard, carrying Lemmy's suitcase, led the way to the elevator. A car was waiting at the rear of the hotel, and apart from the chauffeur, there was no one in sight. Inside the car, the curtains had been drawn over the windows and across the transparent partition that separated us from the driver. Soon we felt the soft vibration of the gearless motor, and a few seconds later, we were speeding on our way to the as-yet undisclosed airfield.
How soon before we can open the windows, Jeff?
Well, not until we're outside town. Controller's orders.
I wonder how many people are raising their hats as we go by.
Why should they?
Well, with the curtains all drawn like this, they must think we're going to a funeral.
All right, Lemmy. take a peek outside, see where we are.
Nothing out there that I can see, except trees and fields. We must be out in the country already.
Good. And draw the blinds and open one of the windows. Let's have some air. Good idea.
Ah, that's better. Yeah, how about this curtain, Jet, behind the driver? Shall I open that too?
Yes, you might as well. But let me put this light out first. There you are. Now go ahead. And slide back the panel, too, while you're about it. Find out which airport he's taking us to.
Hello, chum. Sorry if I startled you. How far have we come now?
28 miles.
Oh, have we? But it's hardly half an hour since we left the hotel.
Orders were to drive you as quickly as possible.
Well, there's no need to go mad. We'd like to arrive all in one piece.
Oh, Jet.
Which airport are we going to exactly?
His voice is this time.
Our destination is not to be divulged.
Well, of course it isn't, but you can tell us. We're going there anyway.
Let him talk. Keep quiet and listen carefully, Judge.
You'll know our destination when we reach it. That is all I can say.
Oh, then I think you're being unnecessarily secretive. If the controller had been with us, he would have told us where we were going.
I am not the controller.
A good job, too, if you ask me. Here, now turn it up. You can't get away from me, you know. I'm in this car with you.
Six, what's he doing? Trying to kill us?
Hey, slow down there in front of you here. Slow down. I've got a notice he's taken of that. Hey, keep your seat, Mitch.
Wait a minute.
Lemmy, what are you doing? He's climbing into the front seat. Lemmy, be careful.
Don't you worry, Mitch boy. I'll handle this. Now, you. Oi, slow down. You here? Are you going to? Or do I have to slow this thing down for you?
Lemmy, be careful.
Oh, blimey, his hands. They're cold as ice.
Leave me alone.
Oh, what are you looking at me like that for? Oh, no, you don't. I'm wise to your little game.
Take your hands off that key.
Jet, stop him for Pete's sake.
Slow down. Slow down, you hear? Slow down.
Lemmy, watch out. Look out in front.
That was episode 3 of Journey into Space. Taking part in this recording were Andrew Foles as Jet Morgan, Alfie Bass as Lemmy, Guy Kingsley Pointer as Doc, and Don Sharp as Mitch. Journey into Space was written and produced for the BBC by Charles Chilton. Journey into Space. The BBC presents Jet Morgan in The World in Peril. After helping to prove that the spherical spaceships which landed on Earth carried crews of conditioned Earthmen, Jet Morgan and the crew of the Discovery are ordered back to Mars to seek out, if they can, further information on the expected major invasion. In the early hours of the morning, a car crawls at their hotel and, with curtain drawn, conveys them rapidly out of London towards an airport from which they will catch a super stratocruiser to a launching ground in Australia. But when, some 30 miles out of London, Lemmy drew back the curtains and spoke to the driver of the vehicle, it was realized that he was no ordinary person.
Here, now turn it up. You can't get away from me, you know. I'm in this car with you.
And Six, what's he doing? Trying to kill us?
Hey, slow down there in front of you here. Slow down. I've had a lot of notice he's taken of that. Hey, keep your seat, Mitch.
Wait a minute.
Lemmy, what are you trying to do? Climbing into the front seat. Lemmy, be careful.
Don't worry, Mitch boy. I'll handle this. Now, you, wait, slow down. You here? Are you going to? Or do I have to slow this thing down for you?
Lemmy, be careful.
Oh, blimey! His hands! They're as cold as ice!
Leave me alone.
Here! What are you looking at me like that for? Oh, no, you don't. I'm wise to your little game.
Take your hands off that key.
Stop it, for Pete's sake. Nah, slow down. You hear? Slow down.
Lemmy, watch out! Look out in front!
Look out, we're going to turn over.
Anybody hurt?
Oh, I'm okay.
I've hurt my arm.
How about you, Lemmy? Lemmy.
He must have been knocked out, Jet.
Let's hope that's all it is.
How about the driver?
Stay where you are, Doc. And you, Mitch. I'll try to open one of the doors so we can climb out.
No! Sorry, Mitch.
Can you reach it, Jet?
Yeah, I think so.
That did it.
Thank goodness for that.
You all right, Mitch? Just for a bit?
Yeah, Jack.
Very well, Doc. We'll get the other two out.
Driver first, Jet. He's laying on top of Lemmy there. Can you take his arms?
Yes, I've got them now. Lift it.
Where should we put him?
I'll lay him here on the back.
Right.
Now let's get Lemmy out.
Hold on a minute, Jet. His legs are curled up all under him. Let's not lift him until I'm sure nothing's broken.
Very well. How about you, Mitch?
I got a nasty pain in my arm, but okay otherwise.
Lemmy seems to be okay, Jet. Take his head, will you?
All right. You ready?
Yep. Now, take it easy. We've got plenty of time.
All right.
Jet, for Pete's sake. The driver, he's got up. He's running away.
Take it easy, Jet.
Stay put for a minute. Let me get out.
Where are you going, Mitch?
Well, after that zombie, of course. Where do you think I'm going?
All right, Doc. Come on. Let's get Lemmy out, for goodness sake.
Put him down, Jet. Here on the grass.
You stay with him, Doc. I'll be back later. Mitch! Mitch, where are you? Mitch! Mitch!
Down here, Jet. Be careful. It's a long way and it's deep.
Have you found him?
No, but he's down here somewhere.
Mitch, are you there?
Here, Jet.
Oh. Right. So dark, I can hardly see a thing.
Yeah, I'll be lucky to find him now.
Where are we, do you know?
I haven't the slightest idea, but well, wherever we are, the country's very hilly. We've come a long way down.
Let's keep looking. Can't be far away.
It's hopeless, Jet. If it were a clear night, we might stand a chance, but he could be within 10 yards of us and we wouldn't know it.
Hey, listen.
That's a familiar noise. Where's it coming from?
Over to the right. Come on.
Hold it, Jet. Look out! You all right, Jet?
Yeah, yes, Mitch. Well, that settles it. We'll never catch him now.
Yeah, that ship was waiting for him.
Probably waiting for us, too.
How do you mean?
Well, it's obvious, isn't it? That driver intended to kidnap us, bring us here to that ship.
Yeah, but how? How could one man hope to persuade four of us to enter it?
By the usual method. In fact, just before the car turned over, the hypnotizing process had begun. That's why we heard the noise.
You mean he was expected to hypnotize the four of us?
Not necessarily. That might have been done by somebody in the ship. It could well have been following the car just above our heads. We wouldn't have seen it.
Yeah, I suppose it might. And then when the driver escaped, it touched down here to pick him up.
Exactly.
He probably wasn't knocked out at all. Just lying doggo until he saw a chance to make a run for it.
How did he know we were expecting a car to pick us up? And where did he get that car from? It's the exact model Space HQ personnel use.
Yeah, I don't suppose it's too difficult to get the car, but how did he know the controller wouldn't be coming with us? That was a last-minute decision.
Yeah, so how much else did he know? Did he know we were going to Australia en route for the moon and from there to Mars?
If he did, then our trip back there could well be a darn sight more perilous than the last one.
Come on, Mitch. Let's get back to Doc and Lemmy. Once we get up on the road, maybe we'll find out exactly where we are. Perhaps a phone box, too.
Wherever we are, I bet it's nowhere near the airport.
Lunar controller speaking. Who? Then put him on immediately. Hello? Hello, Jet. Have you had me worried? Where are you? Near Hindhead. What on earth are you doing down there? What? Well, never mind the explanations now. I'll come down and pick you up myself. Oh. Yes, that's a point. Well, listen. Keep out of sight and walk along the road in the direction of London for a couple of miles. When I turn up, I'll have 3 headlights blazing and one of them will be flashing. Is that clear? As soon as you recognize the car, step out into the road so that I can recognize you. Good. See you later, then.
Sir?
Get a car ready immediately. I'll be leaving in 5 minutes.
Yes, sir. Will you want a chauffeur?
No, I'll be driving myself.
Very good, sir.
That's all.
Yes, sir.
Supervisor, please. Hello, Jenkins. I found them. No, I'm going to pick them up right away. Now, have a breakdown squad go along to the Portsmouth Road as far as the Devil's Punch Bowl to recover a wrecked car. It's lying on its side in the ditch at the edge of the road. Meanwhile, bring the police and have them put a guard round the wreck. I want no one to go anywhere near it before the breakdown squad get there. Is that clear? Well, thank goodness you're all in one piece.
The car had slowed down considerably before it turned over. If it hadn't, we might not have got off so lightly.
Are you quite all right now, Lemmy?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Oh, I must have cracked my head on the instrument panel. I was out for fully 5 minutes, or so the doc says.
And your arm, Mitch?
Just a bad bruise, that's all. Nothing to worry about.
Well, that's something. But we have plenty of other worries.
So one headache is not enough?
Why did you leave the hotel without me?
But you rang up to say you'd meet us at the airport, and the transport was already on its way.
Yeah, it arrived not 5 minutes afterwards.
I didn't call anybody. Fact is, I called for you half an hour after you'd left.
What? Then who did ring us?
That's what I'd like to know.
But I thought it was impossible for anybody to telephone us except through the exchange at Space HQ. And even then it was necessary to know the code number of the line.
Well, somebody knew it.
They also knew you were about to pick us up, and at what time. How else could that Whitaker driver have timed his call on us so nicely?
Do you think they knew of our intention to go back to Mars?
Probably. On the other hand, they may have merely wanted to get you out of the way. You're the only people on this Earth with first-hand knowledge of the way the Martians behave. You're the only real stumbling block to their infiltration plans, if that's why those men were landed from the spheres.
I wonder where they would have taken us if they had managed to hypnotize us.
Yeah, I hate to think.
Well, there's one thing arises from this which must not be overlooked.
What, Jet?
Somebody friendly to the Martians, a conditioned Earthman, maybe one landed here only recently, has been planted in Space HQ. How else could they have known of our intention to leave London tonight?
That can be the only answer. And if there is someone there, he must have been there for years. He would never have had access to guarded information otherwise.
Yeah, well, if that's true, there can be hardly anything the Martians don't know about us. They must have known every detail about the first trip to the moon and of the trip to Mars long before the public ever had an inkling of it.
Of course they did, Mitch. That's why Whitaker was planted in the Mars fleet. He probably had orders to wreck the whole project.
And here we are getting ready to do it all over again.
You still want to go, Jet?
Of course we do, sir. The fate of the world may well hang on it.
Well, at least there'll be no Whittaker coming along with us this time.
Yeah, that's right.
Unless one of us happens to be a Whittaker. How about it, Lenny?
Oh, turn it up, Mitch. You're giving me the creeps.
You know I will. Have a good one.
Nothing further happened to give us cause for alarm. The controller drove us to the airport, which, incidentally, was on the opposite side of London. There we found a Super Strata cruiser waiting to take us to the other side of the world. We landed in Australia the next day and were taken immediately to the launching ground where a moon ship was waiting to carry us to the Earth's satellite. Of course, we handled the ship ourselves and took along the lunar controller, returning to his post up on the lunar colony as our only passenger. We boarded the great ship, and taking our last look at the Earth from close quarters for goodness knows how long, entered the little crew cabin and strapped ourselves onto our takeoff couches.
Firing imminent. Stand by.
Okay, Doc.
Sure, Jet.
Mitch, all okay in my section.
How about you, Lemmy?
Hang on, Jet.
You comfortable, sir?
Yes, Jet, thank you.
Go ahead, Control. Ready for firing.
Firing in 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Contact! 0 plus 5 seconds. 0 plus 10 seconds.
Height, 5,000 feet.
0 plus 20 seconds.
Height, 6.4 miles. Velocity, 4,000.
0 plus 30 seconds.
Height, 27.1 miles.
Stand
okay, Mitch? Yep.
Oh, you cut. Now!
Oh, that's better.
First class takeoff. Everybody okay?
Yeah, too right.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Very well, you may leave your bunks. Check the gauges and make out the reports. As soon as they're ready, Lemmy, radio them back to control.
Yes, sir.
Well, so far so good. So we have to go around shaking hands with everybody before we left, I don't know.
Oh, don't you? Well, I do. I wanted to see if any of them was cold.
And were they?
Well, as a matter of fact, Mitch,
Yeah?
no.
Well, so we're on our way. On the first lap, anyhow. How soon after we land on the moon do we take off for Mars?
A week from now.
From now? But it takes us 4 days to get to the moon. That leaves only 3 days to get ready.
There's nothing for you to get ready, Jet. It's all been done for you while you've been down on Earth.
The HQ don't intend us to waste any time, do they?
No, Lemmy, they don't.
Here you are, Lemmy. The dial reading.
Thanks, Mitch.
And mine, Lemmy. Get 'em off straight away, huh? Control will be wanting them.
Yes, Doc. Hello, Control. Moonship Luna 174 calling. Have first reports. Are you ready to receive them?
Hello, Luna 174. Receiving you loud and clear. Ready for reports. Go ahead, please.
Right, here they come. First, fuel consumption. Tank 1.
Thanks, Big Battle. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate you for even staying. Just thank you for being here. I appreciate you. God damn it. God damn it.
We landed on the moon 4 days later. The trip was uneventful, and once the ship had touched down, we were taken to our old quarters in the lunar colony, where we were to stay until the time came for us to take off for Mars. From the observation tower set high on the precipitous slopes of the Jura Mountains, we could see across the Bay of Rainbows toward the launching platform, where the modified Discovery and the 2 freighters were standing. Night on the moon is equivalent to 14 days on Earth. But when we touched down, 12 of those days had gone, and the long, cold lunar night would soon give way to the blinding, long, hot lunar day. The sky was velvet black and studded with millions of brilliant, multicolored stars. Above the horizon was the Earth, now almost full. Its light, much brighter than moonlight, enabled us to see quite easily the launching ground and its tall, stately ships, tall as skyscrapers. One of the most impressive sights I know is the lunar sunrise. At one moment, the moonscape is dark and somber, lit only by the reflected light
Well,
from the Earth.
I can't
At
eat
the next,
because I got to
at
go
the
to
very
work in
instant
just
the
a
first
bit.
rays of direct sunlight appear over the horizon, the moon's surface is transformed into a study of bright light and deep shadow. The shadows being cast by the mountains,
Yeah, I got
hills,
work
and crater
to do.
rims. As the long day progresses and the sun rises higher in the sky, the shadows grow shorter and the sunlight
It's okay.
more brilliant.
You know I love
We
you.
knew the sunrise was not a sight to be missed. So, a few minutes before the first of the sun's prominences was due
Because
to appear from
I
behind the
have
mountains
work.
in the west, the 4 of us gathered
I
in the
got
observing
work
tower
in less
to
than an
watch the
hour. I
breathtaking
can't do
sight.
that. Yes?
How much longer, Jet?
Yes. Hold up.
Yeah, there's one of the peaks catching the sunlight
Huh?
now.
Always dead on time.
Yep,
You got what?
there's another. And another.
Okay.
Doc, there are no peaks that
It
high over
does.
there. That's the direction of the bay.
Alright.
Something's catching the light up there.
And whatever they are, they're moving.
Grief, they are, too. Excuse me, Doc. Let me get the intercom quick.
Sure.
Hello?
Control room.
Morgan here. Is the controller there?
No, Captain. I think he's gone up to the observatory.
Then you put me onto there right away.
Yes, sir. Observatory?
This is Morgan here. Is the controller there?
No, Jet. He's just left. He's on his way to your quarters.
Oh, he would be. And I'm in the lookout tower. Still, never mind. Listen carefully. I want you to investigate some flying objects just above the horizon to the southwest.
Now, wait a minute, Jet. The sun's about to rise, and that means we've got a lot of work to do. Important work.
I realize that, but these objects are important, too.
Very well, if you'll take full responsibility.
I will, don't you worry.
What is it you want us to do?
Just above the horizon to the southwest, on an approximate line between here and Helicon, objects in the sky, half a dozen or more, moving eastwards. Photographing close up, and hurry, they're moving pretty fast.
What height are they?
Oh, can't be more than a few thousand feet.
They only caught the rays of the sun a few moments ago.
Very well, Chet. I'll do my best.
Thank you. Well, Doc? I know.
There they go. And here comes the sun.
Just as though somebody turned on a switch.
Hey, those things are increasing their speed. It's as though they realize they're caught in the sunlight and might be seen.
They must be flying low for the same reason. They've avoided being illuminated up to now. Yeah, well, they can't avoid it any longer. All they can do now is move over into the night side and quick.
And that's just what they are doing. Look at them move.
They're climbing, too. They're getting away from here fast. Getting smaller all the time. There, they've gone.
Will they be back?
How should I know? Come on, let's get back to our quarters. The controller better hear about this. Just after the sun rose, they gathered speed and disappeared over the eastern horizon. At first, we thought they were the tips of mountains catching the first light of the sun.
And you told the observatory, Jet?
Yes, but whether they were able to get a close look at them depends on how soon they could swing the telescope into position. They were all ready to observe and record the sunrise.
Well, if they did see or even photograph anything, they'll let us know. Meanwhile, I have some news for you.
Oh?
Your takeoff orders arrived less than half an hour ago.
When do we leave?
In 6 hours.
Why not in 6 minutes?
Here are full instructions as to what you are to do when you get to Mars.
Thank you, sir.
No point in opening them, Jet. They're coded.
Eh?
Every message from Earth I have received since our arrival up here has been the same.
Well, we can decode them, can't we?
Not until you've taken off and are well on your way. Even I don't know what's contained in that envelope.
They're not taking any chances, are they? Don't they even trust you?
Since the attempt to kidnap you four, all kinds of security have been tightened up considerably. HQ don't trust anybody now.
They'd better make up their minds to trust us.
How do we decode this lot?
You will take a machine with you. You will also use it to code every piece of information you pick up during your trip before you radio it back here. Normal routine calls may be made in plain language. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now, you will be ready to go out to the ships in 4 hours from now. Takeoff will be at 1500 hours Universal Time. I'll come out to the Discovery with you and see you all safely aboard. Now, any questions?
Oh, I don't think so, sir. Oh, except, of course, we'd like to know what the observatory made of those objects, if they made anything of them at all.
I'll go up there and find out. Anything else?
I don't think so, sir.
Very well.
Let me open the door for the controller.
Yes, Doctor. Thank you, Lenny. I'll see you in 3 hours, gentlemen.
Righto, sir.
Right, sir. Well, that's that. Off to Mars in 6 hours and no embarkation leave.
I wonder what that envelope contains. What do they expect us to do? And why do we have to wait until we're underway before we find out?
Probably because if we knew before we went, we wouldn't go.
Yeah, maybe you got something there, Lemmy.
Hello, Captain Morgan. Observatory calling.
Aye, aye.
Hello, Observatory. Morgan here.
Is the controller with you?
No, he's not. He's on his way to you.
Well, I think you better come up here too, Jet. We managed to get a photograph of those flying saucers.
You did? What were they?
Well, you better come and look for yourself.
We most certainly will. Be with you in a few moments. Good. Come on, gentlemen. Let's see what they've shown us. That's all you managed to take.
I'm afraid, Sir Jet, we'd hardly got the telescope trained on them when they disappeared.
Well, there's no mistaking what they are.
The asteroids?
Yes, sir. The same ones, I would say, that Lemmy and I pursued in the orbital rocket.
The spaceship carriers where those spheres came from.
Yeah, but what are they doing up here on the moon? No point in landing any spheres here. The only habitable place is this colony where everybody knows everybody else anyway.
Well, maybe they don't intend landing any more spheres anywhere. Perhaps they're on their way back to Mars.
Yes, if they were, there'd be no need for them to come so close to the moon. Or so close to the colony, come to that. They must have known they were bound to be seen.
Unless they wanted to find out what was going on, or whether we'd left for Mars yet.
Always assuming they know we intend to return.
Well, I'll lay 1,000 to 1 they do. And that fly pass was to let us know it. They've probably been hanging around here for days. Maybe even followed us up from Earth, I'll bet.
If they had, we would have detected them. No, I think they were just passing by. It was pure coincidence that they did it just as the sun was rising and enabled us to catch a glimpse of them.
Well, where are they now, then? Waiting out there, all ready to pounce on us the minute we show our noses anywhere near them.
I don't know, Lemmy.
Well, I think we should make sure before we take off.
What difference does it make anyway? We'll take off just the same.
Hey?
This is the most favorable time. By leaving now, we reach the planet in the shortest possible period with the least expenditure of fuel.
Yeah, but what if those things are out there and they get violent?
That's the strange thing about them, Lemmy. They've never used violence of any kind, not in the physical sense.
No, of course they don't. Yes,
Hank? This power of inducing sleep, this hypnosis, is the only weapon they seem to have.
Well, that's violent enough for me.
And we discovered on Mars that even the hypnosis can be overcome if you're strong-willed enough.
Oh, that's all very well for you, Doc. You're immune to this hypnosis business anyway. But me, I only have to imagine I hear that noise and I'm out like a light.
Well, sir, I don't think there's much point in staring at this photograph any longer. We've a lot to do before we leave here for the ship. We'd better attend to it.
Very well, Jed.
So, we're going, just like that.
Yeah, Lemmy? Do you want to stay behind?
Who said anything about staying behind? I merely said, so we're going, just like that.
Well, I only...
What's the matter? Don't you want me to come with you? Do you think you can handle the ship without me?
No, of course.
Then don't try to get rid of me. When that ship takes off, I'll be in it. And anybody who tries to stop me is liable to get a thick ear. I don't care who he is.
Then let's get back to our quarters and not start any more arguments over nothing.
Well, I don't want to argue. It's Mitch started it.
Come on, Lemmy, cut the cackle.
Wow.
When in 1971 we had made the first trip to Mars, it was with a feeling of adventure. We were about to set foot in a world no man had ever visited before, or so we thought. But of course, when we did finally land, it was to learn that it was already populated by people from Earth, although few of them realized where they were. On this, our second trip, there was no feeling of adventure, only of great apprehension. What lay in store for us during our long trip of nearly 400 million miles out from the sun towards the orbit of the alien planet? What of the Martians themselves? These were beings we had never even seen. Would we meet up with them this time? And if we did, what would they be like? What were our chances of obtaining the information wanted by our superior officers at Space HQ? And if we did manage to obtain it, what were our chances of returning safely to Earth with it? What if the invasion took place while we were on Mars? Those spheres didn't land conditioned Earthmen in different parts of the world for nothing. What was their purpose? And why, after being landed, had nothing more been seen or heard of them? Well, these thoughts must have also been in the minds of Jet, Mitch, and Lemmy. But in those long, tense moments before takeoff, nobody, of course, mentioned them. In the tiny, cramped cabin, nearly 1,000 feet above the moon's surface, we lay strapped into our takeoff couches. Jet called up control to tell them we were ready.
All set, control. You may close the main door.
5 minutes.
We went through the usual routine. Televiewer, gyro, radar.
Ship over to automatic control.
Roger. 0 minus 4 minutes.
Whenever the time check was heard, I, in turn, checked with the clock on the main
Hey,
control
Mom.
panel.
0 minus 3 minutes.
Now remember, gentlemen, during the firing of the first stage, the acceleration rate will produce maximum
I'm
G.
fine. I'll be
Space
okay.
HQ for damages.
It's going to be very uncomfortable for a fairly lengthy period.
What?
But try not to black out.
Blackouts.
Is what
hypnosis.
better?
Are you kidding?
0 minus 2 minutes.
I must admit I felt a little shaky.
I love you, Mom.
No ship this
I'm in
size
the
had ever
middle of
taken off
something.
before.
I love you, though.
Certainly no
I'm
crew
gonna get
carrying
ready
ship
in
had
just
ever
a
reached the
minute,
velocity
okay?
that this one would reach.
0 minus 1 minute.
I love you, though.
Now relax. No more talking from now on.
And my roommate.
0 minus 1 minute.
What was that?
1 minute, he said.
There should have been 50
I love
seconds.
you, Mom. I'll see you after a bit, okay?
0 minus 50 seconds.
Their clock's haywire. There's only 45 seconds to go.
And there go the pumps. 10 seconds too soon. What on earth is going on? Position control panels. Be ready to take over on manual control if I give the word.
Okay, Jeff.
Hello, Discovery. Control calling.
Hello, control. What's going on? Things seem to be all haywire.
The pumps. They're off.
We know that. We can hear them.
20 seconds to go.
Everything is haywire down here, too.
Why? What's the trouble?
Takeoff is cancelled.
You needed the time like this.
15 seconds.
Somebody started the pump. The motor's bound to fire.
10 seconds.
Turn them off. Here. Revert to manual control. Turn them off.
What's happening down there? Hello? Hello, control? Hello?
They don't answer.
Don't get off your bunk, Mitch. You haven't the time. 0. Mitch, get back. Do you hear? Mitch, get back when you've got the time. All right, Jet. Switch to manual operation now. Lenny, teleview, stern view.
Stern view, on.
Tight pitch, 10.4 miles.
Jeff, look, on the screen. Look what's down there. Those
perishing spheres, dozens of them.
Well, we can't turn back now.
But what's happening to the boys down there?
Whatever it is, there's nothing we can do about it. We've taken off and we've no choice but to keep going.
Oh, me chest, it's agony.
Hang on, Lemmy.
Oh, I can't stand it.
Don't black out, for Pete's sake. Don't anybody black out. We've got to keep awake. We must control the ship.
That was episode 4
Why
of
not?
Journey into Space. Taking part in this recording were Andrew Folds as Jet Morgan, Alfie Bass as Lemmy, Guy Kingsley Pointer as Doc, and Don Sharp as Mitch. Other parts were played by David Jacobs and Alan Tilton. The orchestra was conducted by Van Phillips, who also composed the music. Journey into Space was written and produced for the BBC by Charles Chilton. Journey into Space. The BBC presents Jet Morgan in The World in Peril. Jet Morgan and his crew, under sealed orders, are about to leave for Mars to seek further information about the Martian plans to invade the Earth. They're to take off in the modified Discovery, accompanied by 2 remote-controlled freighters from the specially constructed launching ground on the Moon. A few hours before takeoff, while watching the lunar sunrise, Jet sights a group of objects flying low in the sky. A photograph of the objects taken by the Lunar Observatory proves them to be the same huge asteroidal rocks which serve as spaceship carriers for the small Martian spheres which landed on Earth. As nothing more of the ship carriers was seen, it was decided that takeoff for Mars should go ahead as scheduled. Jet, Mitch, Doc, and Lemmy climbed aboard the tall rocket ship to await zero. All went well until a minute before firing time.
What was that? 1 minute, he said. Should have been 50 seconds.
You sure don't. Sounded like 1 minute to me.
0 minus 50 seconds.
That clock's haywire. There's only 45 seconds to go.
And there go the pumps. 10 seconds too soon.
What on earth is going on? Position control panels. Be ready to take over on manual control if I give the word.
Hello, Discovery. Control calling.
Hello, control. Things seem to be all haywire.
The pump, they're on.
We know that. We can hear them.
20 seconds to go.
Everything's haywire down here, too.
Why? What's the trouble?
Takeoff is cancelled.
Yawning at a time like this. 15 seconds.
Somebody started the pumps. The motor's bound to fire.
10 seconds.
Turn them off. Dear, here. Revert to manual control. Turn them off.
What's happening down there? Hello? Hello, hello.
They don't answer.
Don't get off your bunk, Mitch. You haven't time.
0.
Mitch, get back. Do you hear?
We're off.
Mitch, get back while you still have time. All right, Jet. I'm okay. Switch to manual operation now. Lemmy, teleview, stern view.
Stern go, on.
Height, Mitch. 4,900 feet.
Jet, look on the screen. Look what's down there. Those perishing spheres, dozens of them.
Oh, we can't turn back now.
But what's happening to the boys down there?
Whatever it is, there's nothing we can do. We've taken off. We've no choice but to keep going.
Oh, my chest! Oh, my chest is agony!
Hang on, Lemmy.
Oh, I can't stand it!
Black out, for Pete's sake. Don't anybody black out. We've got to keep awake. We must control the ship, Mitch. Height, 7.6 miles. Velocity, 1,355. Course, Lemmy.
Hang on!
Radar, Doc. Okay.
Oh, pain! Oh, I should die! I know it!
Hold on, Lemmy. You must not black out. I'm 14.1 miles. Velocity, 2,000.
sick.
Take a deep breath, Lemmy. Concentrate on the screen.
And call up control. Try to contact them.
Yes, mate. Hello, Control. Discovery calling. Come in, please.
Dock the telephone. Swing it round. See if the freighters are with us.
Right. Hello, Control. Space Fleet calling. Ready to jettison booster. Come in, please.
Yeah, Jet. They're there. Both alongside.
Good. Now, how about it, Mitch? How long before the second motor should fire? 2 minutes.
Hello, Control. Answer me, for Pete's sake. Oh, it's no good yet. I can't get a peep out of them.
What has happened down there? Oh, let's not bother about that for now. I'm much too worried about what's liable to happen up here. We'll jettison the booster and fire the second stage ourselves. All right. 1 minute, 45 seconds to go. You keep watch on the freighters, Doc. Right. Lemmy, keep trying to contact base.
Yes, Jet.
Freighter remote control now switched in.
Hello, Control. Hello. Discovery calling. Control. Over.
90 seconds. Stand by to jettison booster. You ready? Fire away. Here we go then. Now.
Radar boosters away.
Well, that's something. Our remote control is working. 75 seconds.
Hello, Control. I've not heard from you since takeoff. Come in, please.
Very well, gentlemen. Second and third stages are about to be fired. The next few minutes will certainly be more uncomfortable than the last.
Oh, no.
But will the motor switch itself off at the right time?
Should. And if it failed, it would normally be operated by control. But they don't sound as though they're operating anything anymore. If it doesn't cut, we'll have to manage ourselves.
And if we're all unconscious when the time comes to do it?
One of us at least must remain conscious. Unless he does, the motor will keep burning until all the fuel is gone. Hey, what speed will we have reached by then? Oh, enough to carry us out to Pluto, I shouldn't wonder. Not that we'd know anything about it.
I'll call them up and tell them to have an ambulance ready.
How much longer to go, Mitch? 40 seconds. Well, settle back and relax, all of you.
Relax, he says.
Have you got control yet, Lemmy?
No, Jet, they don't.
Then keep trying.
Yes, Jet.
30 seconds.
Hello, Control. Discovery calling. Come in, please.
All set, Doc?
All set.
Mitch? Yeah, Jet. 25 seconds. All control panels are now fully operative. Everybody be prepared to cut out the motor at the appropriate time. Always assuming we can lift a finger to reach the button. That's only a matter of a couple of inches. How long now? 15 seconds. Stand by.
Hello, Control. Hello.
10 seconds.
Hello.
Firing in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Contact!
I'm back for a very stressful but fun game. Yeah. Hope it went well.
Lemmy, I feel like an elephant sitting on my chest.
Hang on if you can, and keep calling control.
Hello. Hello. Control. Hello.
I hope it went very well.
Answer me. Answer. Oh, no, don't bother. I couldn't reply anyway.
As you can clearly tell, I'm having too much fun over here.
1,000, 6,500. Lemmy.
He's out cold.
7,000. 30 seconds to go. Get ready to cut the motor. 7,400. I can't move my arm. Not even my wrist. Mitch.
He's passed out now, Jet. It's up to us.
Can you get to the switch?
I'm trying.
10 seconds.
A little nearer.
We were supposed to lose, but I kept saying we can win. A 20-minute game turned a 50-minute game wherein if one team F's up, it's the game decider. To be honest, stressful, but it makes the game fun. Yay! Hooray! You won! You big winner!
Oh, it worked. Thank goodness. There's nothing wrong with the ship.
Stress is good. Sometimes stress can be good.
Oh, I never felt so croaky all my life.
Come on, drink it down.
Yeah, Doc.
I had stress to my life all the time.
Yeah, he passed out too. He's still out. Jet's over at his bunk now.
Are we on course?
We presume so. We haven't checked yet. As soon as you feel well enough, checking our course is something you can start working on.
Yeah.
But take a rest now. We've got plenty of time.
Oh, too right. I didn't be told that twice.
Well, I'm going to leave you, Mitch, and take a look at Lemmy.
Sure. Don't worry about me, Doc.
Well, Jet?
Yeah, don't worry about him.
Hello, Control. Hello.
Hello, Lemmy.
Can you hear me?
Lemmy.
Hey. Oh, it's you, Doc. Did I black out?
Yeah, you did. And Mitch.
Oh, me insides. Oh, feels all funny, like it's not there.
Swallow this, then. It'll make you feel better.
Yes, Doc. Oh, I felt just like I've been on a scenic railway after a day
Oh,
of strawberries and
goodness.
cream.
Well, I'm glad you're back for just a little bit.
Feel better soon.
Yes, Doc.
And if you want to take your mind off your space sickness, try calling control occasionally.
It was fully 30 minutes before Mitch and Lemmy felt well enough to get up from their bunks. Meanwhile, Jet and I, between us, carried on the routine work of the ship. A check on the condition of the motor, the fuel consumption, and the position of the accompanying freighters told us that our departure had gone off exactly as planned, except that we'd left 10 seconds too early. But of course, we would have felt much happier if our findings could have been confirmed by control. The fact is, we couldn't raise them.
It's no good, Jet. They don't answer.
What is going on down there?
Nothing by the sound of things.
Well, there's nothing for it now but to contact us direct.
Oh, in that case, I'll see what I can do. Now, let's see if we can get them on the receiver first, shall we?
Your height and speed indicate normal landing procedure. Track E. Over.
That's them. Sounds like they're bringing a ship in.
Oh, that'll be X-170. It left the moon for Earth just before we landed in the bay, remember?
Yeah, that's right.
X-170 to control. Your message received and thank you. Normal landing procedure will be put into operation in 5 minutes. Over. Good luck, X-170, and happy landing.
Happy yet. If he only knew the trouble we were having. Now, just retune the transmitter. There. And there. Turn on the juice and Bob's your uncle. Oh, bags of aerial current anyway. Now, here goes. Hello, Control. Spaceship Discovery calling Earth Control. Can you hear me? Over. Well, they should have heard me. Now, we wait a couple of seconds for the radio wave to get down to Earth and back, and...
Hello, Earth Control calling spaceship.
Unless
Hello, Control.
you decide to stop streaming. I like to keep you company. Also, lovely colors. Thank you. This is Trent. This is the main male character. So there's a main female, a main male character. So Yi, too much fun. So he's a bard, and I was like, and I like the emote that people have that's all nice and stuff. The music one, even though I don't play music, even though I'm not a musical man a lot of times. Still a nice emote to have. Bam.
What are you doing on this frequency?
We've lost contact with Lunar Base, and we're feeling lonely. It happened just as we were taking off.
All right,
We
Lenny.
just got the...
I'll take over now.
Oh, yes, yes.
Lost contact, but how? Your radio seems to be working all right.
Hello, Control. Morgan here. It's not our radio that is faulty, it's theirs. Have you been in contact with them lately?
No, Jet. We never call them on this frequency anyway, but I'll report the matter. Did you get away safely?
Yes, but only just. Now, listen, Control. I'd like a check on our speed and course. Would you attend to that?
Aww. Thank you.
We'd like you to relay our message to Space HQ in London. But it won't be ready for some minutes yet. Can you keep a listening watch for us?
I've got to actually make them. I've got to finish my emotes, then I'll make the overlay.
Sorry to have butted in on you like this, but we had no choice.
Don't worry about it. Hear from you later.
Thank you, Control.
Also saving money
It'll be perfectly normal down on Earth.
so I can get
Space HQ and see what action, if any, they expect us to take.
so I can get a tablet for my big computer.
The tricks these Martians get up to, you can never be sure who you're talking to.
No, you're good. No, you're fine. No, Massilative, you're fine. It's just these things take time.
With our own calculations. That's something. How about you, Doc? How are you doing?
Almost through, Jet.
Overlays wouldn't work on this tablet, so I've got to get a
What will they think of next?
screen tablet
Yes, Doc. OPY42 QRA7P XUWZ. What is this? Martian language?
Oh, that's just the check copies.
for the big ass compoots.
Yes, mate. Hello, Control. Discovery calling. A coded message for you. Are you ready to receive it? Over.
Hello, Discovery. Receiving you. Ready to take your message. Over.
From Discovery to Control. Day 1. 16:35 hours Universal Time. Message number 1. Transmitting now. Well, there's one thing about these coded jobs. They certainly save wear and tear on the old voice box.
Yeah.
Hello, Control. We got
Hell yeah.
and about time, too. What took you so long with the reply?
All right, Lemmy, let's have it.
There it is, Jet. Help yourself.
Don't blame me, Lemmy. As soon as I received it, you got it. How you doing out there?
Oh, all right, mate. Except we've travelled 120,000 miles further since we last heard from you.
Yeah, well, don't let's boast about it, Lemmy. You never know who's listening.
Oh, no. Sorry, Mitch. I forgot myself.
Yeah, well, watch it.
Yes, mate. Hello, Control. That's all for now. Call you again in 1 hour for routine check.
Roger.
Well, Jet, what does it say?
Says we are to proceed with trip as planned and stay tuned to Earth control.
So there's still no contact with the moon?
No.
Well, what are they doing about it?
But if no contact is made within the next 6 hours, the ship...
Well, yeah, no, we're going to be streaming through the PC. Hopefully we'll be playing PC games. Maybe even Skyrim modded. Maybe even Fallout 4 modded.
Pretending that nothing has happened to them, is there? We should think ourselves lucky we got off when we did. And whatever happened to the colony didn't happen to us as well.
Yeah, Lemmy. Maybe we should.
Just a little bit more brush density.
There was little for us to do in the ship. Every couple of hours, we checked our position relative to the Earth, Moon, and Sun, and carried out routine checks on oxygen supply, power packs, radar, radio, televiewer, and other electrical circuits. We very quickly fell into ship routine. We took it in turn to prepare meals. 2 men were always on duty, sleeping being arranged accordingly. To the port side of the ship was the sun, a brilliant blue-white globe, its corona clearly visible. Behind us lay the Earth and its attendant moon, both rapidly decreasing in size as we traveled further from them. The 2 freighters, both as large as the Discovery, coasted alongside us. In spite of the speed...
It's okay.
The freighters appeared to hang motionless in the void. Of course...
Look, it takes time. It's not if you need to take your time with your art, you know, gain confidence and stuff like that, you know. You could always practice and stuff like that. It doesn't hurt. You've got it. Take your time. We're excited to see the final product. It'll be fun. I mean, I am. I don't know about everybody else, but I am. I'm always excited to see everybody's products. It'll be nice. As you can clearly flip and tell. Right now, I'm confident I'm doing portraits, but not confident yet to doing colors, so I'm learning how to shade first and all. It's okay. You know, that's the foundation. I mean, you see how I shade. This is how I shade. As far as I've heard, it's not unpopular. It's the method of, you know, I shade differently than when I have a pen and paper, because obviously. But, you know, the getting rid of method, which is slowly taking away the shade and not adding it. Oh no. Oh no, Masaladov, I'm hungry. But it's only going to be a little bit more. And then I will stop stream because I got to go to work at 1. So this method slowly adds shade, and then I'll add highlights afterwards. I'm also hungry, but I'm trying my best to control my hunger. You'll get there. You'll lose the weight. I believe in you.
being remote controlled, they carried no crews. Seeing them there and knowing they were empty of any kind of human life made them appear uncanny. On our last trip, these same two freighters had carried 2 men apiece, and aboard number 2 had been Whitaker, the first condition Earthman with whom we had knowingly come into contact. How many others had there been? How many were down on Earth at this very moment? A week passed, during which time we covered over 10 million miles, left the Earth's orbit, and moved steadily outwards away from the sun towards the orbit of Mars. Then came the day when we received a special message from Control. Jet took the decoded message from the roller and read it over to himself. He read it twice, in fact.
Well, Jet, come on. What's it all about?
The ship that left Earth for the moon.
Didn't he get there?
It got there, all right.
And then?
They've heard nothing since.
Oh, no.
Well, what do they do now? Send up another one?
Oh, I doubt it. No point in throwing away good men or ships.
Yeah, well, when did they lose contact?
Almost the moment the ship touched down. The pilot reported he'd made a safe landing in the bay, and that was the last they heard from him.
Oh, what happens now? To us, I mean.
We press on, of course, and remain in contact with Earth Control.
What I meant was, what happens to us when we get back from Mars? These ships can't land anywhere except on the moon.
Controller said nothing about that.
Well, they better start saying something, and quick.
Well, what's all the hurry? We won't be landing back on the moon for a year at least.
And by that time, the mystery of what's happened down there might well have been solved.
And it might not. When we started out on this trip, we only had the prospect of the Martian landing to worry us. Now we've got the worry of what we're going to run into when we land back on the moon.
If things at Lunar Colony are not back to normal by the time we return, we won't land there. We're going to free orbit around the Earth and ask Control to get us down by another method.
Always assuming Earth Control is still in control. For all we know, the Martian invasion...
Hold up.
takes place while we're
I'm gonna get something to nibble on.
around the solar system forever. Stars, or the oxygen suffocation. What makes you...
Stretches!
Well, it's better to face up to the facts, isn't it?
They're not facts yet, only possibilities.
Well, then we should be prepared for every possibility. If we call up Earth Control one day and get no reply, don't say I didn't warn you.
I mean, if the Martians can take over the whole world, it should be easy enough for them to take over control as well.
And give the orders, you mean?
Well, if they cared to. Why they should want to bother, I can't think. With the invasion completed, we'd be of no danger to them anyway. They could afford to ignore us, leave us to get along as best we could.
Yes, but the possibility of their invading before we get back is remote. Meanwhile, it's up to us to get as much information as we can about how the invasion is to be made.
Well, I didn't think there was any doubt about that. Thousands of those sphere-carrying asteroids will approach the Earth, and from them, thousands more spheres will make the actual landing. Whatever kind of creatures those spheres contain will attempt to conquer the world and take it over.
Oh, I don't think it'll be quite as simple as that, Mitch. That method could only result in interplanetary war, and war, in the way we know it, is something completely alien to the Martians.
Well, how would they do it?
You know as well as I do. The Martian method is to attack the mind, to get people under their control by hypnosis. Once that had been achieved, their subjects could be led to believe that anything, everything, is quite normal. I doubt if they'd even realize an invasion has taken place, in the majority of cases.
You mean there would be exceptions, Doc?
Well, not everybody on Earth would succumb to the hypnotic treatment. Thousands, millions maybe, would be immune to it, as I am.
Yeah, and what would become of them?
Well, I suppose they could band together, form pockets of resistance. Properly organized, they might even drive the Martians off the Earth again.
They'll be lucky.
Well, let's hope it doesn't come to that. If we're lucky, the invasion may not take place at all.
You think we can prevent it, just the 4 of us?
What we find out on Mars may help the Earth to prevent it.
If we get to Mars...
Why shouldn't we?
These Martians are no fools. They know what we're up to. If they wanted to, I'll bet they could snuff us out right now.
All right, well, why don't they?
Because they realize that for the next 6 months, while we're coasting out to Mars, we're no danger to them. But when we get to Mars and start poking our noses into things they don't want us to know, it'll be a different story. We'll end up just 4 more conditioned slaves. Just like Frank Rogers, Dobson, Harding, and the rest of the old fleet.
If only we knew more of what we're up against, who the Martians are, or even where they live. There was certainly no sign of anybody on the planet other than conditioned human beings. And they'd all been brought up from Earth anyway.
Well, those pyramid cities certainly weren't built by Earthmen.
No, Mitch, they weren't. They must have been built, long before the first Martians set foot on our planet and picked up the first unsuspecting prisoners.
We never went inside those pyramids. Maybe the Martians live in there.
Maybe. And if they do they ever come out of them?
Maybe they don't have to. Maybe each of those pyramids is control room where the whole Martian life is.
Sorry about that. I did need something to eat before I got dizzy. I was getting dizzy.
Maybe there is somebody. Who? The time travelers. Those fellas who are now living on Venus.
Yes, the time travelers.
We've no proof they even exist. Not one of us remembers meeting them. Look, the only account we have of them was written in Doc's diary during our first trip to the moon.
I'd bet my life that we did meet them, Mitch.
If we did, then we must have traveled back in time, as your diary says. Back 25,000 years.
That's right.
Then it must have been
Bread.
years ago that the time travel
Hawaiian sweet bread.
That's a long time ago. How can we be sure they're still there? Or that they ever got there?
Or if they did, whether they'd be
As I know, bread makes you fat.
Or not, or whether they are or not, it makes no difference. We're heading for Mars, not Venus.
If we find the Earth occupied by Martians when we get back, we might be glad to go to Venus.
Oh, we'd never make it. We've hardly enough fuel to get to Mars and back. Now, Venus is out of the question, so there's no point in discussing it any further.
No, Jet. The thought just struck me, that's all.
Yeah, and the thought strikes me that I'm hungry, and it's your turn, Lemmy, to get the meal ready.
Yes, Mitch. I'll start opening a few cans.
You don't need fuel, you idiots. Space is not goddamn. What are you, ejecting fuel for no goddamn reason?
The full journey to Mars was expected to take nearly 7 months. Now, that time is long enough in itself, but cramped as we were in the tight little cabin of the Discovery, it seemed an eternity. There was no division of day and night, such as there is down on Earth, to help mark the passage of time. The main clock in the control panel was set to Greenwich, Universal Time. The hours it ticked off were the same as those down on Earth. So, a day to us was 24 hours, nothing more. The scene outside looked the same at noon as it did at midnight. There was still no contact with Luna Base. A second ship had been sent up a week after the first, but the pilot had been told not to make the landing, but merely to encircle the moon and photograph the bay, the launching ground, and as much of the lunar colony as possible. But that ship, too, had failed to return. We could now only assume that the moon base had been taken over by the crews of the spheres we had seen landing. All Earth-Moon ships were grounded now, and no further attempts to land on the Earth satellites were made. In fact, the 4 of us were the only Earthmen now flying the spaceways, and we were some 30 million miles from home, and had traveled some 360 million miles to reach that far. We passed off-duty hours listening to the radio programs relayed up from Earth, between routine calls with control. We played card games or read books from our microfilm library. I did more writing than reading, although I must admit after a few weeks of coasting through space, my entries grew shorter and shorter. Life had become so much routine, there was hardly anything to record anymore.
Well, then don't record. Write a fan fiction.
Then, at last, after more than 6 months coasting through...
Write a fiction or a fan fiction.
The details of its surface quite clearly, even through the little navigational telescope, the time came for us to do something out of the ordinary.
Well, gentlemen, the time has come to refuel the ship and get ready to slow it down.
What happens if we don't?
Then we overshoot our objective and continue our course round the sun for another few months until we reach the point from which we started.
I'm not so sure that I wouldn't prefer that. At least we'd be near home.
Yeah, but not near enough. The Earth would be in an entirely different part of its orbit.
Oh, well, in that case, we'll stick to routine and slow the ship down. It's better to have Mars to land on than nowhere to land at all.
Thank you, Lemmy. What's the drill, Jet? Well, 2 of us will have to go over to freighter number 1 and hitch up the fueling lines. Lemmy and I will go.
Thank you. Be nice to go outside for some fresh air.
You, Mitch, will go down to the hold and see the Discovery receives her ration.
Yeah.
You, Doc, will stay here and control the proceedings.
Sure.
Now, Lemmy and I will put on our suits. While we're doing that, Mitch can get down to his post, and you, Doc, can call up control and tell them the transfer of fuel is about to be made.
Oh, that's me all dressed in my natty summer suit in.
Put on your helmet and test the radios.
Fuel
Yes, Lemmy.
them.
Helmet fastened. Testing radio.
Okay, Jay.
Yeah.
Down you go, Lemmy. Into the airlock.
Yeah. There we go. There we go. I didn't see it until then. I was like, what? What's happening? What's happening?
Exhausting airlock.
Hello, Mitch. Can you hear me? Yeah, Jet. I'm down in the hold now. Then let out the fuel lines. We'll pick up the 3 ends outside. Righto. Very well, Doc. You can open the main door.
Main door. Contact.
Oh, blimey. Milkman's only left us half the pint again.
Out you go, Lemmy, and cut the cackle.
Yeah.
And make your way down to the stern and pick up one of the lines.
Yes, mate.
Hello, Mitch. We've
picked up the line and are making our way across to number 1.
Roger. I can see you on the televiewer, Jet. Is everything okay?
Yes, Doc. No hitches as yet. Almost at the ship's side now. We've made it. Now hitching pipelines. Pipeline secure.
Point 2.
Now moving up to outer door.
You and me both.
And now we're outside main door of number 1. Contact.
Man, they really know how to make space sound boring as shit.
Main door closing. Oh, put the lights on, Lemmy, for goodness sake.
Give us time to find the switch. There. Ah, that's better. And there's the door closed. You can fill up the airlock now, Jet, and we get upstairs.
Contact.
Suit deflated. She's filling up. We're beginning to hear things again.
I would love to live in space. That would be incredible. Aw, an ocean. You could try to get on to one of those ocean rigs. Or you could try to save up for a sailboat. Go to international waters. Make trips all around the world.
We shouldn't hear them. Not now we're inside the ship. The walls act as a screen. That's why we need the ship-to-ship system. Listen, there it goes again.
Yes, I heard it that time.
There's somebody up there.
But that can't be. There was nobody in here when we took off.
They could have stowed away, couldn't they?
Well, if they had, they'd never have survived the takeoff. There are no couches in this ship.
Sounds like they didn't need them.
Listen, Lemmy. Let's hear what they're saying.
Yeah, one of those rigs would be real cool. My dad used to work in an oil rig. On a few of them.
Come on, let's climb the ladder. I'll lead the way.
Oh, blimey.
It sounds so cool.
That was episode 5 of Journey into Space. Taking part in this recording were Andrew Foles as Jet Morgan, Alfie Bass as Lemmy, Guy Kingsley Pointer as Doc, and Don Sharp as Mitch. Journey into Space was written and produced for the BBC by Charles Chilton.
Charles, you make horrible, horrible stuff.
Episode 6 of The World in
Or like,
Peril continues our
near a
journey
beach? I
into
wouldn't
space
mind
next
living near a
Friday evening
beach.
at
Every
7
morning
o'clock.
would be beautiful. If it was stormy, it would still be beautiful. I would think. It would still have the natural beauty.
Morgan in The World in Peril.
That would be nice, though. Wake up to that every morning.
Jet Morgan and his crew are on the way to Mars in the rocket ship Discovery, accompanied by 2 remote-controlled freighters. After 5 months coasting out to the Martian orbit, the time arrives for the transference of fuel supply from...
Now both have their ups and downs. Sunny days, depending on the weather, which is normally going to be hot, is, it's going to be, you're going to have to wear a lot of sunscreen. It's going to be pretty hot. It's not going to be perfect. And, you don't want to get a heat stroke out there as well. But just as much, a cold day is also not perfect. Oh yeah, nice sunny, a nice, cool sunny day with a few clouds in the air and the breeze whipping up. That would be nice. Oh yeah. Hold up, it's saving. Oh yeah, it's saving. Had to save. But yeah, no, that would be nice. Get a nice ocean view place. That would be so pretty. I would be down for that, Massilative. It sounds fun. Get out from all the city life and stuff like that, far away from everyone. But that's the problem about nice beaches is that we gotta put a hotel on it. Oh, we gotta put a city right near it. Oh, can't enjoy it for what it is. Gotta let every jack off come to it. Oh goodness. But talking about that, I think it is about time for me to get ready for work. And so far, what I've done is this. I think it looks good so far. Let's compare it. Let's compare notes. Bam, bam. Bam, bam. Bam, bam. Bam. And bam. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my reasoning. Is like, oh, thank you so much. I do appreciate it, Maxilative. I just need to. I don't like that. I don't like that. Hold up, Maxilative. I gotta clean this up. Just let me clean it. Let me do some spring cleaning over here. Just a little bit. Just a tiny bit. Just the little bits. Just the little bits. Just a little tiny bit of spring cleaning up there. I'm so sorry, Massilative. I'm so sorry. I know. Let me sweep the porch. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Now, is it done? Probably not. It probably needs a few more little bits and bobbles. But I think it looks pretty darn good. And then we have... bam, bam. And then... bam, and bam. Your work is amazing, though. Why you apologize? Oh, I'm just like, oh man, I thought, just looking at it now, I gotta fix this, I gotta fix that. I'm like, ooh, so sorry. Sorry, the porch wasn't clean before you got here. Oh yeah, no, that's coming along. Both of them are coming along, so you'll have these amazing emotes if you subscribe. Oh man. Once you hit that sub, you'll have 5 incredible emotes. I'll also put the I don't know what I should put as the badge, but I'll put something. I don't know what to put as the badge. Shoot, that's a good question. I could put the Inquisitor badge, but I mean, a lot of people probably won't like the Inquisition. That's a good question. I'll figure it out eventually. I have so many pokers in the fire. Let me get done with one project, and then I'll get to it. I've got to finish these, and then I've got to finish the panels. So I've got... yeah. No, I need to... I haven't figured out what the badge is. I have no idea what I want as a badge. That's the problem. Like, that's my biggest issue, is that I don't even know what I want as a badge. Oh, man. Shoot. If you have any suggestions, but I would rather get the comic book out first and then get to sub badges afterwards. It'll probably take a few months before we ever get sub badges on this channel. Just because I want them to be special. I want people, when they have a sub badge. Oh yeah, I mean, D&D, I mean, I was expecting it's going to be something of that, to that effect. Alright. Now I have the stream open on my phone. Now I need to pick out somebody that I'm going to raid. So, let's see. We've got the usuals, Greg, Nina Meep, and Dylan Lunatic. There's Sandbox Platypus, who is 22. I mean, if there's anyone special on yours that you would want me to send, I'll definitely send them. If anybody's got a suggestion, I'm definitely here to hear it. I'm right here. Because I'm hitting the raid button. I'm hitting the raid button. It's okay. It's okay. You know what? We're gonna do Sandbox Platypus. If I can do his name correctly. If I can. Sandbox Platypus. Platypus. I put an extra U in there for no damn reason. Puss. There we go. Alright. Yeah. Alright, guys. You have an amazing one. You have a stupendous one. I hope you have an amazing one. I hope you stay incredible. And I'll see you guys later. You know that you're awesome. Don't stop being awesome, so keep it real. I'll try, no promises. We'll see how it goes. Well, alright now. Everybody have a good one. Tell them have a good one before you leave. So I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Blam. And anybody who didn't go, I will see you next time. Peace out.